Welcome back to another live stream. How is everyone doing? Hope you guys are doing great. All right, let's get the ball rolling. As usual, I'll say hi to members first. But before I do that, I forgot to make sure that the stream is working fine. I see there's a lot of people in the chat already. Just let me know if you can see the video, the stream. Is it working fine? Is there any lagginess? Is my voice okay? Is the microphone working? Is there any echo or distortion? Let me know if you can see the video and audio. Make sure they're okay before I continue, right? If there's any problem, I want to fix them right from the start. And while I'm waiting for feedback, let me just drink some coffee. Coffee first. So before I reply to everyone, I think some of you saw that I've gifted a membership to a random person, and I thought it wasn't random, right? So Andrew is asking this question. I have been researching this for months, and you guys know that I have membership enabled on this channel. You pay a certain amount of money every month, you subscribe, and you get some perks, like you get to see my videos 24 hours before everyone else. I will reply to your chat or comments first before everyone else, and they are members only videos, so there are some perks. There was, I think someone told me that, and I was also aware that there is this thing called membership gifting, and I can't gift. Technically, I have to buy the membership for someone else, so it's not free. I have to use my own money to buy a membership for some other people. And I think this is also valid for all of you. If you look at the chat, there's the cash icon. Not only you can buy a membership, but you can also gift membership for someone else. So I thought of trying it. I thought after I purchase the membership, I can choose who to give it to, right? So I click on it. I bought the membership, and it just randomly gifted to someone. I have no control. At least that's the first one that I tried. So before I do the next one, because I am using my own money here, let me figure out how do I direct it to a certain person or a person that I want to give it to, right? And at the moment, it seems like it's random. I bought it, and it's automatically directed to one person. So whoever that got the membership, congratulations. I hope you enjoy the membership. All right, let me get to the chat first. All right, let me get to the chat. As usual, if you're a member, your name is highlighted in green. There's a star badge next to your name, and I'll reply to your chat first before everyone else. Roy Capture says, "Hello, my EPL2 is still pretty good in this day." And that camera must have been really impressive back in 2010. I think EPL series cameras, they were not known to be really good in the beginning. It started with EP1, EP2, EP1, EPL2. The one that, anything that's after EM5, I think the first OMD, then it used the same autofocus technology, then the image stabilization improved, the processing is faster, everything is better with the new 16 megapixel sensor. I think it was after EM5. We're talking about the era of EPL5 and EPL6 onward. Then you can see a significant jump of image quality and performance. Not saying that any camera before that wasn't great. When EPL1, EPL2 was launched, same with EP1, EP2, it wasn't really getting much attention or much praise from the general critics. That time, DSLR was still dominant. They didn't do anything much better than DSLR in terms of image quality or autofocus or any other. They don't even have any of the computational photography features that we have today. They were only known to be really small, really compact. And bear in mind that so far back during the times of EPL2, we don't have that many lens trusses for Micro Four Thirds. It was still very new. So I think it was only after EPL5, EPL6 onward, EM5 era, then we see much improvement when it comes to the Olympus Pen. Right. Yeah, I know, right? I didn't know what happened, so I'm still trying to figure things out. Hey Andrew, how are you? Very good to see you here, Andrew. Hello, good day, Robin, everyone. It finally rained in KL, but it is still so hot though. Like, yeah, when it was raining, there was some cold air blowing into the room. Then after the rain, then, well, the coldness went away. I think we needed like it to rain continuously for another few hours to enjoy the coldness, but I also realized that if that happens, we might have floods, which is not good for Kuala Lumpur. Hey Tomato, how are you? Good evening, Robbie and all. Good evening to you too. Nice to see you here. All right, Let's see. Wow, there's a lot of comment for tonight. All right, Kesha says, I got a steal on eBay on the 45 1.8. That is a fantastic lens. I love that lens so much. It is still my bread and butter lens, and I use that lens so much. It was my main talking head video lens. So all the A-rolls for my videos on the YouTube were shot with the 45 1.8. All right. Andrew says, audio and video okay, crystal clear. Thank you so much, Andrew, for the update. Rippy says, hi Robin, I just switched off my PC and going off to bed, but your live stream popped up. I can't be here for long, but we'll definitely watch it tomorrow. No worries, Rippy, no worries. And yeah, I totally understand it's Ramadan, right? You guys have to fast for the entire month and you gotta wake up early for sahur and everything. Don't worry about this live stream, right? And we'll definitely catch up, Rippy, after Raya, I'm sure. And yeah, hopefully you've had a blessed Ramadan so far. Hopefully everything goes well with you and your family, and we must catch up very, very, very soon. Raya is gonna happen like in 2 weeks' time, right? All right, let's get to the non-members chat. Nick says, the Olympus Pen F is the embodiment of the entire Micro Four Thirds philosophy in one camera. That is not true. I think the embodiment of all the Micro Four Thirds philosophy in one camera would be EM5 or the original EM1. A camera that is good enough for serious use, that has weather sealing, made of magnesium alloy body, robust construction, and you can use it in any harsh shooting conditions, that has really fast autofocus, top of the tier performance, really great viewfinder. I find that there's too many compromises in the Pen F, don't get me wrong. I know why it is so popular, it is such a beloved camera. Pen F has gained a cult following now. But the viewfinder is subpar, it's not that great, it's not weather sealed, the construction is not that, when you hold the camera, yes, it feels solid, but it's not as robust as, say, the EM1 or, EM1X, for example. It's not the kind of camera you want to knock around or use in a very, when you use it in a professional environment, right? It doesn't have dual cut slots, and a lot of things are missing from the Pen F. And I feel that, yes, it's a great camera, don't get me wrong. I enjoy using it. I can see why it's so popular. But no, I don't think it's the total embodiment of the entire Micro Four Thirds philosophy. I disagree with that. Ethan says, hi Robin, you can start now. Well, I start on time, and I've started my public live streams on time, on the dot. For the past more than 2 years, I've been doing live streaming. That's quite impressive, right? Not bad for, I don't know, I find that something not easily done, considering if you look at other live streamers out there, they're always like a few minutes late, it's not even 10 minutes late, and some have a lot of problems there and here. I always start on time. I think that's something that even I'm amazed by it by myself. I'm telling you, Olympus System should go a cheaper line of introductory cameras that look like the old Olympus Trip 35 cameras that had the different colors. Yes, they need some budget level cameras, entry level cameras that's more accessible to everyone. And I think Olympus Pen is the answer. And they should really rethink of bringing back the Olympus Pen so that, more people will buy into the Micro Four Thirds system, and then the Micro Four Thirds market share will grow. And not only it will bring more revenue and profit to the company, but it will also attract more third-party lens manufacturers to make more lenses for Micro Four Thirds. And definitely, you can't just sell like $2,000 cameras, flagship level cameras all the time. Not everyone can afford that. And if you don't have enough people buying your cameras, then how are you going to sell your lenses, right? So yeah. Jeff says, hey Robin and everyone. Hey Jeff, how are you? Good to see you here. Ethan says, hey Jeff. Hey Ethan. Hey Wolfie, how are you? Good to see you here. You are early this time, Abam Bobby. Yeah, not many people call me Abam these days. Yeah, Kamwet Mariam says, good evening Robin and everyone. Yes, I really do hope they bring the pen back. Yes, that's the hope. I really wish they do though. Yeah, about the gift, I talked about this already, the memberships. So now I have the ability to give someone else the membership, but I haven't figured out how to give it to a specific person. So when I bought the membership earlier, it was for a random person. So one random viewer now has a membership for 1 month. Let me do a bit more digging and see how it actually works, and before I spend more money, because hey, these days it's hard to make money, hey. Yes, I'm trying to be. I try to maybe give 1 or 2 memberships every live streams before I spend too much money going random, let me try to figure out how this works, right? Yeah, I'm still figuring this out. Prosty says, what's your favorite pen camera ever? Olympus Pen EPL 7. That's my favorite ever. Thanks, coming up, Myram. Appreciate that. Thank you so much, Prosty. Thanks, Yumi. And hi, Yumi. How are you? Good to see you here. Hey, Brian. Thank you so much for the update. Thanks, Roger. Appreciate that. Thank you so much, PGA. Thomas says, hi, Robin. Haven't watched it since our daylight savings time got switched back. It's now 10 o'clock for me again. Ah, awesome. So it's 10 in the morning. You're 24 hours ahead or behind? No, 12 hours. You're 12 hours behind, right? It's 10 o'clock at night for me. So yeah, that's interesting. Thank you so much, Rob, for the update. Thanks, Jari, for letting me know. And hi, Jari, how are you? Hey, JTag, good morning to you too. Thank you so much, Wolfie. I appreciate that. Jerry says, hi from Finland. Now we have +5 degrees. That sounds really cold still. I know you're using to get like below 0 degrees, right? Spring has begun. Snow is melting fast these days. That's great. I guess you guys in Finland appreciate some warmer days. I think it's been really cold, right? Andrew says, yes, please bring back the pen. OM is really missing out. It needs to give Fuji and Ricoh a run for its money. Yeah, I know, right? It's the popular X100 series from Fuji, and then Ricoh is doing so well with the GR series as well. So, you know, it's really missing out, right? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that what cameras or products that will do well in the market. We already have data that they can work with. I just don't understand why they don't want money. It just doesn't make sense. Andrew says, I got the APL 8 last week and loved the live composite. Well, practically I got that just because of the feature. Yeah, live composite is really fun. If you do a lot of light painting or do a lot of like light trails, whether it's on the traffic, on the highway, or you want to shoot, if you can get to a remote area, Andrew, I don't know if you've tried this before, go to somewhere really far where there's no light pollution, where you can actually see the stars. Just set up the tripod, put the camera on it, turn on the live composite for like 1 hour and let it swirl. You can see the star trail, which is really amazing. That's really fun to do, but make sure either you have another camera to play with, I'm sure you have more than one camera, or bring coffee or something to pass time, or a friend to talk to, or else that 1 hour will be really boring. I also got a GF2 for a dirt cheap price. The colors are so much different from other newer Lumix cameras. The skin tones are just so nice. Yeah, I know, right? GF2 skin tone is so good. I remember using it, I thought, like, hey, that's almost the same colors that I get from my earlier Olympus cameras, like from EP1, EP2, or even the EM5. I don't know what happened to the color science. They just tweak it so much, it's so different. And it's weird. And they don't even get the colors right under the hot sun. The skin tones come out purplish, which I don't understand. If you can't get the colors right under daylight, then there's something really wrong with your cameras, right? Rowan Capture says, I'm trying to decide whether I should get the EM10 Mark IV or EP7 for my backup. That's always with my EM1. It's a bit too big to go in the pocket or small bag. Well, then the question to ask yourself is, do you need the electronic viewfinder? If the electronic viewfinder is very important when you use the EM1, you've been using the EM1 for some time, right? Then you find yourself using the viewfinder a lot, then the EM10 Mark IV makes more sense than the EP7. Basically, they are very similar, but I feel that the EM10 Mark IV is a more proper camera. It has better gripping, it has dual dial setup. I'm sure the EP7 has a dual dial as well. But overall, it feels, I mean, if you have enjoyed using the EM1, then the EM10 Mark IV is like a mini EM1, right? So yeah, I hope that helps. Let me read a few more chats and then we'll get to the updates. Not much updates really for what's happened. Process says the original EP1 were just a compact version of the Olympus DSLR, weren't they? Not really. Not really. Olympus DSLR has, what you call that, pentaprism, which enables optical viewfinder. EP1 doesn't have a viewfinder, and the autofocus system is completely different. DSLR, they use the phase detection autofocus. The EP1 uses contrast detect, and on the earlier days, the contrast detect was really bad. Only after EP3, EM5, then you get the very fast contrast detect. But before that, you can see the pulsing, the hesitation, the sluggishness of the autofocus, and sometimes it just fails to focus completely, especially in low light, low contrast situations. The earlier days of the Micro Four Thirds camera, there's a reason why it wasn't a hit on the get-go, like when EP1 this was Olympus' first micro four thirds camera, and the Panasonic G1, when those cameras were released, they didn't get instant success overnight. It took them many iterations until maybe Olympus EM5 in 2012. So they launched a camera EP1 in 2009. Panasonic G1 was 2008. So we're talking about 4 or 5 years later. Like EM5, EM1, you can see the massive success of Micro Four Thirds. And it's not surprising. The body is magnesium alloy, it is weather sealed, it has built-in electronic viewfinder, it's super fast autofocus, even faster than DSLR. Image quality improves so much that there's not much difference between the 16 megapixels image sensor in EM5 versus the DSLR. The best DSLR, APS-C DSLR at that time, of course, full frame would still be better. But you know, the camera can do so much, and then they introduced like 5-axis image stabilization and everything. But yeah, all those things only happened during the EM5 and EM1 time. Before that, during the EP1, it was just very basic. That's why it didn't do very well. Yeah. Xmida says, some OMPL with 20 megapixels and face detection autofocus would be nice to have. Two rollers. What the hell is two rollers? Electronic viewfinder port back will be cute. I don't think we'll see the electronic viewfinder coming back. What they can do is they put in a built-in electronic viewfinder. Even if they don't put in electronic viewfinder, that's perfectly fine. If you really need the electronic viewfinder, just get an Olympus OMD or the OM5 or OM1 or some of the Panasonic cameras that have the electronic viewfinder. It's not like you don't have options. I'm perfectly fine with the Olympus Pen cameras not having viewfinder. I have been using the EPL7 so much these days. Later you see some photographs that I'll be sharing. I don't miss the viewfinder really. I understand why the viewfinder is important. I definitely, if I'm going to do a job, let's say that if it's only a camera that I have, just one camera, that I want a viewfinder. But when I use the EPL7, it's not my main camera. I don't think it should be your main camera for professional shoots, or if you are a professional photographer, you probably shouldn't be using a pen. But if you are casual photographer, hobbyist, then it's perfectly fine. And when I'm not doing anything too serious, when I'm not shooting for a job, when I don't have to deliver my shots to my clients, I'm fine working with the LCD. And I find the LCD screen is perfectly usable. It's bright enough for shooting under sunny conditions, and I appreciate that a lot of the Pan cameras, most of them, the newer ones especially, they have tilt screen, or if you are using the Pan F or the EP7, I think. Is EP7 using the swivel screen? I don't remember. We don't have EP7 in Malaysia. It's never sold here. It's not sold in most parts of the world. So let's say you have Pan F, you have the swivel screen. So I appreciate the way that the screen will allow you to shoot the camera in various different angles, low angle, high angle. You discover different perspectives. It forces you or encourages you to be more creative with the composition. You get to move more and try different things, try different framing options. And that's only going to make your photography better, in my opinion, right? Compared to just shooting with viewfinder, you're just stuck with eye level, then photographs will come out very, very boring. One tip to improve your composition or get more impactful photographs is to move away from eye level. I don't think a lot of us can squat all the time. I don't consider myself that old. Right, I'm in my 40s now, early 40s, and even I don't feel like squatting all the time. So having the tilt screen will enable me to get low angle shots without suffering too much. You get what I mean? All right, let me just read one or two more chat. Asrul, how are you, Asrul? Hopefully Ramadan has been treating you well. Hope you have a blessed Ramadan. Good evening, Robin. Raining there on your side. Here just stopped since about 6 o'clock. It rained earlier, but it has stopped for like an hour already. So it rained in my place much earlier than yours. And temperature is about 27 degrees in my room, above 27. I'm hoping it drops below 27, around 26-ish. That will be just nice before sleep. Hopefully the temperature will continue to drop. And hope you are doing well, Asrul. Let me read just one more so that it doesn't pile up. Roger says, an updated Pan camera is needed to get more photographers to move from smartphones into cameras, especially Olympus. It's not just to target the smartphone photographers, right? Even photographers who already have cameras, I don't think they mind having another small cameras to carry around. A lot of my friends who use Fuji X100 or Ricoh GR304, they already have a main camera, whether it's Canon, Sony, or Nikon. They have their main setup, the large DSLR-like mirrorless camera with super huge lenses to do serious stuff, or when they are doing jobs or shoot their wildlife photography. And they don't mind having a smaller camera around with them, like the X100 Fuji or Ricoh GR series, just to do some casual snapshots from day to day. Like if they go to a cafe, meet their friends, have lunch, you want to take a photo of a plate of, let's say, pasta or a cake. I mean, it'll be an overkill to bring a Canon R3 or a Nikon Z9 with a 7200, right? It was like massive, monstrous beast machine. A tiny camera for just snapshots is just perfect. And I think in that situation, the Olympus Pen will be a perfect choice. And knowing what Olympus Pen they've done historically. My vocabulary is all off tonight. Looking at the history of Olympus Pen, putting it that way, they have always been, making the camera really small, easy to carry around, easy to use, fun to use, and look amazing as well. So I thought pen will be perfect for every photographer, really. You don't really, and it's not that expensive, right? You don't mind throwing a bit of money just to get it, especially if you are in Micro Four Thirds system. If you use Panasonic and Olympus cameras already, then getting an Olympus Pen body makes perfect sense. You can use your existing lenses on the camera. All right, I'm gonna put a chat here. All right. Put a pause on the chat here, and just gonna dive into my updates. Nothing much happened really. I think this week we had a new video on Monday, and the video, before I talk about the video, let me check another thing. It was RAW versus JPEG. RAW versus JPEG. That was on Monday, and it was in response to a lot of questions that people have been asking me, right? So I've been received so many questions every time I share photographs, whether it's on my live stream or whether it's on my normal videos. People ask, Robin, do you shoot this in RAW? If it's in RAW, how do you post-process them? Or will they straight out of the camera JPEG? Then what are your settings and everything? So I thought it would be nice to make a video to address those questions. And trust me, I get hundreds of those questions every month. I thought I'd just make one video to answer everything once and for all, and in case there's any future questions, I just throw the video and there will be the self-explanatory answers, everything in that video, right? So it's for my own convenience as well. If you haven't checked it out, the video was on Monday, RAW versus JPEG, my opinion, whether I shot RAW or shot JPEG. Well, the answer is I shot both. For jobs, usually RAW. I want to give my best to my clients. There are times I make mistakes, and if I do make mistakes, RAW files, I can fix those mistakes with less penalty. When you are doing jobs for clients, you want to deliver the best to your clients, right? I'm human, I make mistakes. I can't be perfect 100% of the time. I'll be too arrogant to say that I don't make mistakes. I'm like everyone else, I can screw up. I do mess up from time to time. So RAW files have saved my life more times than I can count, right? You can fix it and there's less penalty, less consequence. Whereas JPEG, sometimes I need to shoot instant delivery, so I shoot RAW plus JPEG. And sometimes I don't have time to sit down, transfer photographs, edit the photos, post-process my RAW files to JPEG to submit to my clients. Sometimes in some situations, the clients will need instant delivery, whether they want to immediately post it to Instagram stories or the social media or website, or they want to pass along the photographs to media, the press. They are waiting there. And there are situations where I shot some private events where the media was not even allowed. The newspaper people or people from the, like outsiders are not allowed into the private discussion. So I was the only photographer in that room. And I'm being paid to shoot those photographs so that those photographs will be made available to all the other media outlets, the newspapers, the magazines, the whatever online portals, everyone else, right? To spread the news or to report the news. So I was the only one holding the photographs. And when a client says you got to deliver the photographs now, they have to print the stories by this afternoon. They have to post the update, within the hour. I have to give them the photos. I just give them the SD card and everyone just gets the photographs instantly, right? In that situation, you can't say, oh, sorry, I need time to open up my laptop, process the photographs, and then I need to denoise software, I need this and that. No, like you don't have time. You need to submit right there on the spot. So that's where JPEG comes in, and I think it's very important if you are a photographer, if you care about your craft, if you really want to earn a living as a photographer, you have to be able to shoot both RAW plus JPEG. No excuses. You can't say, I want to fix it in post. No, it doesn't work that way. If it's for my personal shoots, let's say my shutter therapy sessions, my street photography, macro, all the things that I do for non-paying clients just for myself, doesn't really matter. Sometimes I shoot RAW, sometimes I shoot JPEG, sometimes I don't even know. I was shooting halfway and say, oh, I was shooting JPEG. Oh, that's fine. The photographs are still captured. I'm okay with the photographs. And honestly, the JPEG files from modern cameras these days, any cameras from Nikon, from Olympus, from Sony, from anyone, the JPEG files are looking fine. There's no problem, right? You can use the JPEG files. They are still valid photographs. And don't forget, even if you shoot RAW, after you process your images, when you upload it to Instagram, when you post it on your website, when you send it to your friends in email, it's not RAW, it's JPEG. It's no longer RAW, right? You can't see RAW images on the screen. Whatever you see on the screen, on social media, on websites, it's JPEG. At the end of the day, it's always JPEG. So there's nothing wrong shooting JPEG. I know that the problem why I make this video is, you hear some people say, if you're a real photographer, you must not shoot JPEG, you must shoot RAW. You must learn how to post-process your images. I mean, knowing how to post-process your images, that's a good skill to have. I think it's very important, but it doesn't invalidate those photographers who prefer to shoot JPEG. It is your choice. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you shoot RAW or JPEG. A good photograph is still a good photograph, no matter how you got it. As long as you presented it, if that's an amazing photograph, I don't care whether you shot it in RAW or JPEG. It is still valid. It's still an amazing photograph. And to me, that's all that matters. So if you haven't seen that video, check it out on Monday. I shared some, there was a job that I did that I shot everything in JPEG. I shared it in that video as well. Now, nothing much happened this week. This weekend, I'll be busy doing a job. I'll be fully busy from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I have a dinner with some photographers on Sunday, which I'm looking forward to. So I have no time for shutter therapy in the next few days. But hopefully next week, I'll be able to do some videos. I have some topics in mind that I want to cover. I've made one video earlier this week, shooting JPEG again, in continuation from the RAW versus JPEG video that I did last Monday. So this time I did a street shooting session purely all in JPEG. So I look forward to sharing that video with you guys sometime in the future, not so soon. I'm going to space apart the topic of RAW versus JPEG. I'm not going to keep talking about RAW, JPEG, RAW, JPEG, RAW, JPEG all the time. They'll be very boring. There'll be other things I want to talk about next week. And then a few weeks later, then we'll come back to the JPEG shooting only for my street photography. And I'll show you guys. I'm actually technically shooting on the street. POV, you see my screen, how I got the shot, and it's all in JPEG. I'm not cheating, right? I have evidence. All right, before we get to the topic, I do want to dive into the topic very, very soon. Let me drink some coffee, read a bit of chat. And yeah, I think today's topic is very open-ended. It's more like asking your opinion, not so much of what I think. But let me drink some coffee and get to the chat first. All right, let's see members chat. Do we have members chat? Wow, we have a lot of chat. That's amazing. Andrew says, if someone annoying asks me whether I shot in RAW or JPEG, I'll just answer I shot in TIFF. They don't know how old some of my cameras are. My goodness, do you really shoot in TIFF? That is massive, eh? Not the most efficient way of handling the files, but I guess if they don't have RAW in camera, they don't have a choice, right? If you really need, if you do a lot of post-processing, then TIFF it is. And Trill says, howdy Robin and all. Hey Entry, how are you? Very good to see you here. Dron says, hi, do you think OM should create video-centric cameras lineup or maybe improve their video capabilities in OM1, OM3, OM5? Avoid wobbling? What the hell is wobbling? Okay, I don't understand what wobbling is, but I can answer your earlier questions. I think video is very important as part of making cameras that can do well in the market. You cannot ignore the video capability in your cameras moving forward. Hybrid shooters is the way to go. And it's a way for you to target a wider crowd because, hey, you know, making video is a huge thing these days, whether it's for TikTok, making content for YouTube, or even just for whatever reasons, right? Podcasts or anything. Now, having said that, I do agree, again, I do agree that OM system is lagging behind when it comes to video capabilities. If you compare with what Panasonic, Sony, Canon, everyone is doing, we don't have like 4K 120. Our log profile is very limited. We don't have all the LUTs. We don't have open gate. Even the bit rate is quite is limited. We don't have the 422 bit rate, right? So I think it's 420 something. I can't remember. Okay, honestly, I'm not a video expert, so I don't know a lot of things about video, and I'm possibly not the best person to comment about video. But I admit that, yes, I acknowledge the fact that we do need to see some improvements, and OM system needs to catch up when it comes to video capabilities. But having said all that, I don't necessarily need more from what I have now. Maybe there's some things I wish could be better. All the videos that you've seen, now especially this video, see this is captured by the OM1, right? Uploaded straight with zero processing. There's zero processing uploaded online, live stream, straight from the camera. I thought it looks fine. Right. My videos that I've shot all in 4K, my usual videos, I didn't even shoot them in cinema 4K. It's not the best setting. It's the kind of setting where like Jordan from Petapixel will complain, saying that it's mushy, there's not much details, it's not the best compared to other 4K videos from other cameras manufacturers out there. They'll complain that, oh, the color is not really there, it's harder to color grade everything. But I thought, like, do you guys have problems with the colors coming out from my video? Like, when you look at my video, my talking head videos, like especially the ones that I've done with the 45 1.8 with the blur background, I thought it looks pretty good, right? My skin tone looks great. There's a nice blurry background. Yeah, maybe it's not the sharpest output out there. I don't really care. It's just a video. Like for me, I'm not a cinematographer. I don't really care about very high quality production. I do care about the polished look. I do care about how the video is being presented. And so far, I think what I have from the EM1 Mark II is more than good enough. The few things that I wish could be improved. I wish they have a full-size HDMI port, because that tiny micro HDMI, the micro HDMI port, I have broken dozens and dozens of micro HDMI heads. I wish it's a full HDMI port, right? Like what Panasonic cameras are doing. That's one. Two, I wish the flat profile is a bit flatter. I'm using flat profile and I color grade my photos manually. I don't really use LUTs, and I'm not comfortable shooting with OM log 400 because it starts with ISO 400. And under hot sun, I prefer to shoot at low ISO numbers. That's why I don't use OM, the log profile, the OM log 400. And that will require further post-production steps, which will make things a lot more complicated for me, which I don't want. So I shot in flat profile, which I think is more than good enough. But I wish it's a bit flatter. I know the total flatness will come from the log profile, but I wish the flat profile is a little bit flatter. And other than that, not much complaint really. Autofocus is fine. Yeah, it could be improved, of course. Not the best autofocus out there, but it's good enough. You don't see my videos being out of focus all the time, right? Even here on this live stream, I think the OM1 is doing quite a good job keeping my face in focus, and it's shooting wide open f1.7. Yeah, for me, again, like I said, I'm not a cinematographer. I don't shoot high-end production. I don't do any serious video stuff. I don't shoot video for clients. The video is purely for my YouTube, and whatever that I'm doing, the content on this YouTube channel, the EM1 Mark II is more than enough. I'm not even using the OM1 to shoot my YouTube videos, right? And at times when I'm really lazy, I don't even use the EM1 Mark II. I use the DJI Pocket 3. For a lot of my recent videos, they were all on DJI Pocket 3, and I think it's more than good enough. But yeah, I understand, like, you want to play the game, you can't be too far behind, and there are people who do care about the video quality, and especially those YouTubers, they want to create cinematic looking videos, right? Then you do have to ramp up your quality or the capabilities of your cameras to fit those needs. I agree with you. All right, let's see. Andrew says the older cameras used to have TIFF before RAW. The file sizes were so big, and the price of 1 gig micro drive, well, it's like selling a liver. I know, right? Like, even today, I wouldn't be using TIFF. It's just so massive. School Kids Nerd says, I've always wondered if you were Muslim, being a predominantly Muslim country. Ramadan Mubarak. I am not. I am Chinese, and I'm Christian. So Malaysia is a Muslim country. Islam is the national religion, it's the official religion of the country, but being a Malaysian, we are free to, well, except if you're Muslim, you are technically locked in the religion, you can't get out. I'm not going to talk about that much. I don't want to be detained or go to prison. But if you are non-Muslim, let's say if you're Chinese, you are Indian or other races, you're free to practice whatever other religion. There's no restriction whatsoever. So I am not a Muslim, but I have so many Muslim friends. And yeah, I mean, we basically live in one big happy family here, so no worries. This side to our screen says, good morning, Robin. Well, good morning to you too. Thanks for joining the stream. Hey, Dron. So it's Andrew from Russia. Hi, Andrew. How are you? Good to see you, Andrew from Russia. Uvi says, I love the idea of Pen F since the day it came out, but the two reasons why it didn't attract me to buy it was the lack of face detection autofocus when the EMR Mark II already had it, and no weather sealing. If they make the version 2, I would buy it. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, that's another thing that you mentioned, right? Face detection autofocus. So if you say that it's the embodiment, just now there was a previous comment that says it's the embodiment of all things Micro Four Thirds. I disagree with that. I think it's missing too many crucial features. Like EMR Mark II is a better example of what a Micro Four Thirds should really be, right? Yeah, all right, I'm gonna put a pause here. Thanks for chiming in. Wolfie, appreciate the thoughts. Basically, today's video is nothing new. We've talked about this before, and we always wish that there are some cameras that OM Digital Solutions should look at and they should bring it back. I'm just surprised that the last pen camera that they actually released was EPL10. I know there's EP7. I know this. I'm not discounting the fact that EP7 exists, but we can't get it here. It's never officially brought in for sale in Malaysia. If you get EP7 here in Malaysia, it's a grey unit. It doesn't come through the official distributor, and when Olympus was around, it didn't go through the proper channels. It's the same problem with the majority part of the world. Most parts of the world, we don't get EP7. That's why I don't really count it as an actual product from OM Digital Solutions. Now, EPL10 was launched in what year? I think it was 6-7 years ago, right? EPL10 release 2018, I think 2019. So we are in 2026. It's been 7 years since 2019, right? 2026, yeah. It's been 7 years since the last Olympus Pen that was made available to everywhere in the world was launched. And after that, we don't have an update for Olympus Pen. I understand when OM Digital Solutions took over Olympus Imaging, when JIP carved out the imaging division or the business from Olympus and they start up the OM Digital Solutions. A lot of things are not certain, and there are many things that they can or cannot do at that time. There are restrictions, right? It makes sense that they focus on some key products like OM1, OM1 Mark II, certain lenses. Understand they may not have enough funds to play around to, like just launch whatever they want. I hope that they have not given up on Olympus Pen, because historically, if you look at data that is available, the statistics, Olympus Pen has always been the top-selling Micro Four Thirds cameras ever in Japan and any parts of the world. It's not the OMD, it's not the EM1, it's not the OM1, it's not the OM5, it's always the Pen cameras. Even recently, right, like for last month, the data from Japan, the top-selling cameras that we have, I think I saw this from 43rumors.com, they still say that in the top 10 selling camera, or the top selling Micro Four Thirds camera last month was EP7. Top selling Micro Four Thirds camera was EP7, right? Of course, EP7 was available in Japan. It's not really representative for the whole world, but you can get the rough idea of which cameras in Micro Four Thirds that will do really, really well. So from Olympus or OM system, it's always the Pen series, like EPL7, EPL8, EPL9, EPL10. Even like, I know the Pen F is a different story. But even Pen F has gotten a cult following. If you look everywhere in the used market, it's so hard to find. If you can find a Pen F in the used market, the price has skyrocketed so much. It's so expensive, right? It has become like a collector's item. It has gained a cult following by itself. And it's pretty interesting to see why. And it's totally understandable because, first of all, Olympus Pen is so small, so light, and there will always be a huge demand and interest for small size cameras. Yes, the big cameras will always do well. like the large DSLR size cameras, like those massive flagship level, Sony, Canon, Nikon, all those massive cameras, they will do well with all the latest tech, the monster performance, fast burst rate, right? And Sony has a global shutter. They're pushing all the best technology, like more megapixels, better image quality, amazing autofocus performance, whatever the latest and greatest tech, innovation, all the AI goodness, whatever they can put in the camera. Those are the big cameras. But not everyone will go for the big cameras. Not everyone can afford those flagship level cameras. And even if you have the flagship level cameras, you don't want to bring them out all the time. There are times you just want a smaller camera. And for most people, an entry level budget, more accessible cameras will be the choice. Olympus Pen fits that profile perfectly. And I've been shooting with Olympus Pen so much as a casual camera for travel, for everyday use. Let's say I want to do some street photography, some light documentary, do some casual portraits. If I want to just hang out with my friends, take some shots of my friends in certain locations, or just everyday, bring it out, everyday carry, right? And an everyday carry, it's perfect. I think Olympus Pen, it's not too small. Ergonomically, it's nice. Those of you who have used Olympus Pen F or any of the Pen cameras, EP3, EP5, or EPL series or EPM, you see the ergonomics is really good despite its small size. The cameras are well built. It has image stabilization. Image quality is also not that different from the best of Micro Four Thirds. If you really compare, it can still give you really good results. I'll show you some photographs later. And overall performance, it has all the goodness, all the really nice features, live composite. Andrew just mentioned he bought the EPL8 just for the live composite. It has a lot of these nice features that were from the higher grade cameras but trickle down, and you don't have to pay a premium for those cameras. That's why these cameras are accessible, and I think that if OM Digital Solutions bring it back, not only will it boost the sales or revenue or profit, but it also boosts the sales of the lenses, right? People who have these cameras, okay, they come with kit lens. Hey, I want to do more. I want to do macro photography. Then you can sell your 60f 2.8. Hey, I want to shoot some things that's far away. Then you're going to sell your lenses like 75 to 300. Or hey, I want to do a bit of landscape. So then you can sell the 9 to 18 wide angle lens. Or I want to get some nice bokeh or some portraits with a shallow depth of field. Then you can sell the 45 1.8 or 75 1.8. And all these lenses are so small, so light, they match the small size, compact form factor of the Olympus Pen perfectly. And these are the cameras that are so small, you can carry with you everywhere you go to. It's not like the large cameras with large lenses. I understand there's a place for bigger cameras and bigger lenses. The birders out there, the wildlife photographers, I perfectly understand the need for, say, 150 to 400 lens or 300 lens. And I know those lenses, super telephoto lenses, for the reach, you can't really make those lenses small. Then you need larger cameras with a battery grip to balance those lenses better. I understand that for handling and everything, for the reach, for certain types of photography, you need the size. You can't just make them small, but for everyone else, and you're not going to shoot bird all the time. There are other photographers who shoot bird, but sometimes they want to take photographs of their wife, their kids, or maybe the kids in the recital, or the kids playing soccer, right? So you got to consider there are other situations where small cameras will definitely do better in certain situations. Not only that, we all know, I talked about this already, we all know how successful Fuji X100 really is. We all know how amazing and how the Ricoh GR series is sold out everywhere in the world. And Fuji X100 Mark 6 got I'm not even sure if the report is accurate or not, but 1 million pre-orders throughout the entire world. 1 million. And if those cameras can do so well, if those small size cameras can do so well, then isn't Micro Four Thirds the perfect competitor to eat into the slice of the pie? Because Micro Four Thirds, what is Micro Four Thirds all about? Micro Four Thirds is all about making small cameras, making really small and compact cameras that can deliver great results, that can give you amazing performance, right? That's what Micro Four Thirds should be. And it seems like people are taking this philosophy and applying it elsewhere, whereas Micro Four Thirds is making larger cameras and larger lenses. trying to fight with the big boys, which I think is a losing battle. They should refocus, I think, both OM Digital Solutions and Panasonic. I'm also talking about Panasonic now. They should refocus their efforts, go back to the drawing board, and really understand the original strategy of Micro Four Thirds. What makes Micro Four Thirds work and how they can utilize the strengths of Micro Four Thirds and maybe win over the market again. I'm sure there's a market for small cameras like Olympus Pen. I'm sure if they bring back the Olympus Pen, it will do really, really well. Well, this is not about me sharing my opinion. That's all I have to share. Do you agree with what I've said? If there's anything that I've missed out, what makes Olympus Pen so special? I'm sure a lot of you have Olympus Pen. Do share what you love about your Olympus Pen cameras, which Olympus Pen that you have, your experience shooting with your Olympus Pen cameras, and whether OM Digital Solutions should bring them back or not. I'm sure you have some things to say, and please share with everyone. I'm sure other people would love to hear your opinion as well. All right, before I get back to the chat, let me drink some coffee. Coffee. All right, let's get to the chat. Marco says, good morning. Coincidentally, I'm waiting today for delivery of EP7 that was advertised new in box. Ah, that's nice. Congratulations. I hope it arrives soon and you have some fun with the EP7. I wish they sell it here, though. Andrew says, the days of micro drives. If you own one, you're like, my goodness. Okay, let's get to the non-members chat. School Kids Nerd says, also I finally sold the EM10 Mark IV for the OM5. Got the 17 f1.8, the 14 150 and 20 f1.7, and for the 2.5 f1.7, really enjoying the kit. You got the right idea. So the OM5 itself is still quite a small camera. It's not that much larger than the EP or the Olympus Pen cameras, right? It's about the same size as the Pen F. We have all the small lenses, the 20 f1.7, the pancake lens, 17 f1.8. That's really amazing. I think with all the lenses that you have, there's a lot you can do with them. But I thought like 17 f1.8 and 20 f1.7 is a little bit too close, right? I wonder what's justifying you keeping both 17 f1.8 and 20 f1.7? I thought you'd probably pick one over the other and maybe, you know, like buy something else that you don't have, like maybe a macro lens or I don't know, ultra wide like 9 to 18 for example. Wolfie says, I'm out with my older girl testing out a free lens I got. Vivitar 70-205 f3.8 in Pentax came out from 1970s. I'm curious about the character of the images for fun. Are you using it on a film camera or are you using it on a digital camera? You have a Pentax digital camera? Interesting. Or are you adapting it on any of your other cameras? Which is also interesting. Schoolkids Nerd says, sold the 14 f2.5, 1442 EZ and 14 150 Mark 1. EM10 Mark 4, so didn't pay at all for the new lenses and camera body. That's amazing. And from EM10 series to OM5 or the EM5 series is a huge update. Not only you get better image quality because it's a different sensor now, the 20 megapixels. It has better dynamic range, better high ISO. But also it has face detection autofocus, so it's a lot faster in terms of autofocus, more reliable if you shoot things that are moving. And it's weather sealed, right? OM5 is weather sealed. It has better, even the shutter speed goes to 1/8000. I think everything is just better, really. Everything is just better. It has pro capture mode now. You have focus stacking. You have live ND, if I'm not wrong, in the OM5, right? So you have all this good stuff that you don't really have in the EM10 Mark IV. Yeah. Kamet Mariam says, kind of off topic, but really curious on Songdian's Micro Four Thirds. I hope it's more affordable than Lumix. Here's the thing. I've already talked about this in my last stream, and I'm just going to be repeating myself. I don't really have much confidence in all these China manufacturers, and this is people are talking about this like as if it's the first time a third-party manufacturer outside of Olympus and Panasonic is making a camera body for Micro Four Thirds. This is not first time, right? We have Xiaomi, which is the Yi M1 or Xiaoyi Yi M1, horrible camera. Kai from Digital Ref totally gave a negative review. We have Yongnuo, several Yongnuo Micro Four Thirds cameras, the YN series. They were also all getting overwhelmingly horrible reviews everywhere. I cannot find a single positive review for the Yongnuo Micro Four Thirds camera. We have a Kodak Micro Four Thirds camera as well. Kodak makes a Micro Four Thirds camera, and also you don't hear good things about the Kodak Micro Four Thirds camera. We have like several examples of cameras that are made by other China manufacturers already in the past. What makes you think that this new company, whatever it is, can do a better job than say Kodak or Xiaomi? Unless they are like DJI, for example. If DJI is coming out with a Micro Four Thirds camera, I think they're going to do a good job because they have the know-how. They bought Hasselblad, after all, they own Hasselblad now. So with the technology and know-how to make a camera, with their resources, and they're being really serious in the market. And already DJI has existing Micro Four Thirds products. Some of the drones use Micro Four Thirds image sensors. So it's not that they don't know what they're doing. Then maybe there's some hope that the Micro Four Thirds cameras from DJI can actually make it. But this new company, or whatever company this is, if you look at the history of whatever cameras that they've made, I don't think it really inspires confidence. And looking at the history of all these other China manufacturers trying to make Micro Four Thirds products, I think it's fair to say that we will all be very disappointed. Yeah. This side towards screen says, looking at the second-hand market of the Olympus EP7, it's going for around $700 and up to $1,300 depending on condition. Yeah, we can't find it here. So I don't know why, was it already OM Digital Solutions? I think it's OM Digital Solutions, right? Olympus EP7. Or maybe it's still Olympus. I don't know why they don't launch it worldwide. They just cap it to just certain countries. It's a very limited release. It makes no sense because I know the camera will do well here in Malaysia. It just doesn't make sense. Hey Vapagamuka, good evening to you too. How are you? Welcome to the stream. This side to the screen says, what do you think of the price point of the new pen camera would be good to say enough to be successful? Well, if you want some good stuff, like really good stuff, let's say face detection autofocus, with the latest autofocus technology, with powerful image stabilization and some of the computational stuff, I don't think we are looking at anything below 1,000 US dollars. It may be like, I think sensibly, I want it to be below 1,000 US dollars, maybe around 899 or 999. I don't think we are going to get like 699 or 799 anymore. That time is past. I'm not even surprised to see it has become like 1199 or 1299. But I think around 1,000 US dollars body only is a sweet spot. Maybe with the kit lens, maybe 1199 with the kit lens, for example. But we'll see. And I also don't think they can make it too cheap. Then you'll eat into their own profit, and then there'll be too many compromises. They cut too many corners. We might not even get like all the good stuff. Then it's just the same from the previous pen cameras. Then what's the point, right? Why don't we just buy the old camera? There's so many in the used market already. So it has to be new enough with some significant jump in terms of image quality, say a 20 megapixel image sensor with face detection autofocus. I don't mind if it's only 3-axis image stabilization, but has like the newer autofocus performance. Then I think it can go for like maybe 999 US dollars. That'll be great. Still way cheaper than what Ricoh GR series are selling or the X100 series are asking for, right? So I think, yeah, definitely. Hey Santix, how are you? Hi Robin, you look like you're doing great. Hope you're. I'm doing okay. I'm doing fine. Been very, very busy lately and very happy to see you here. Roger says, Robin, do you have a rule on using stabilization when the camera is on a tripod? So many contradictory statements out there from photographers. I made a video to talk about this. Let me just dig it out for you, Roger, if you haven't seen the video. Gotta open up my own channel, right? Okay, tripod. Just search one word. On or off image stabilization when using tripod. I made this 3 years ago. Just gonna share this with you. I actually climbed a hill for this. Tripod with image stabilization. So, Roger, if you haven't seen this video yet, please check this out, right? In summary, I leave it on. Because my tripod, it's not those kind that is super sturdy. The tripod that I have it weighs only less than 1 kilograms. It's very light. It's meant for travel. So when I put my camera on it, I'm not saying that it wobbles or it's not stable. It's still perfectly stable, but it's not like 100% movement free. there's still some micro movements on the tripod, especially if I touch the camera. So having image stabilization activated, it helps to reduce or mitigate those micro movements, right? Those very, very small movements, right? Okay, let's see. We have members chat. I think we have one here. Dan says, I would love to see a new updated pen, but sadly, I don't think OM has listened to the people on this one. Seems like they don't listen at all on anything that people want, right? We say that we want the Pen F Mark II and they give us the OM3. Not saying the OM3 is a bad camera. I think a lot of people who have owned the OM3, they are saying very positive things about the OM3. I'm just saying like, hey, we want the Pen F Mark II, right? What happened? Why give us the OM3? It just doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Sandy says, 14 to 140 Lumix versus 14 to 150 Olympus. What do you think? If you are shooting with a Panasonic camera, then the 14 to 140 Panasonic makes more sense because it has a image stabilization in the lens. So you get to use the dual IS versus the Olympus 14 to 150, you don't get the dual IS advantage. So if you are a Panasonic shooter, the 14 to 140 Panasonic makes perfect sense. But the Olympus 14 to 150 is weather sealed. I don't know which version of the Panasonic, because Panasonic has several versions of the 14 to 140. I think some of them, was it Mark II or Mark III or whatever, is weather sealed. So that negates whatever I'm trying to say. But the 14 to 150 Olympus Mark II is weather sealed. So if you're using, say, the EM5 Mark III or OM5, the 14 to 150, it matches the weather sealing versus if you are getting the Panasonic non-weather sealed version, that it compromises the weather sealing. So it's sort of like matching the features, right? If you are using Panasonic, it makes sense to get a Panasonic lens, to use the dual IS, which will make a huge difference if you shoot at the longest end, 100 to 50. And then if you shoot with Olympus camera, of course, it doesn't matter whether it's lens or body IS. I think you just use the body IS, it'll be more than good enough. Then some of the Olympus camera bodies that have weather sealing, that you want the lens to be weather sealed. In terms of optical performance, I think both lenses are very, very similar. I think the 14 to 150 Olympus is slightly smaller in terms of size and weight. It's lighter as well, so there's no clear winner here. There's some conditions that you have to consider. Yeah. Wolfie says, I recall back in the day, the EP3 was the first contrast detect autofocus sensor for Olympus that was scanning 60 times per second. 120 times per second, not 60. The better processor is improved autofocus from functional to good. EP3, if I remember correctly, EP3, 120. Yep, it's not 60, Wolfie. Olympus has used 60 before EP3. It was in the EP1, EP2, EP01, EP02, and still is not good enough. But when they make it 120 times, then the performance of autofocus just improves drastically. It's not 60, it's 120. Yes, and they need like a better processor. I forgot what processor they used already at that time. I think it's like dual core or something in a camera that is really powerful to when one of the core is dedicated to just process the autofocus, right? Yeah. And when you half press the shutter button, the camera will take 120 photographs. 120 photographs, not recorded in the camera, just for autofocus purpose. And based on that 120 frames, maybe not 120 photographs, but 120 frames per second, when half press, it takes less than 1 second to hit the autofocus, right? Let's say within half a second, you get 60 photographs. That's why, let's say it's one tenth of a second. You already get like 20, 30 shots already. Then it helps with the autofocus to determine which part of frame is in focus much quicker than, say, the last time, 60 frames per second. Yeah, I know. I also feel that if they want to make Pen F Mark II, they would have made it in the original OM3 instead of giving us OM3. It could have been Pen F Mark II, right? While making Pen light with a 4-inch screen, I don't think 4-inch screen is going to happen. That will make the camera too big, and I don't think that's what we want. We want to keep the camera as small as possible. Yeah. Klaus says the clutch ring has never worked on my Pen F. What the hell is a clutch ring? Pushing the ring forward does not re-engage autofocus. Pen F has a clutch ring? I thought it's just the shutter button, right, for autofocus. What the hell is a clutch ring? I don't understand what you're saying, Klaus. And I have used Pen F extensively before. I don't remember there was a clutch ring. Prosty says, EP7 has tiltable screen like all the models. Yeah, it doesn't have a swivel, right? I like this type of screen like my EPL5. Understand. Thomas says, I've got an EM1 Mark III for proper travel, but take the EM10 Mark II for fun days, like going to a carnival or opera. And believe it or not, EM10 Mark II is still a fantastic camera to use, still perfectly capable. Yeah. Axmina says, agree that the EVF on a panel is rather optional extra, but still nice to have. It's smaller than my EM5 Mark III, and with EVF, it can be also a great backup little body. Well, if you're happy with the EM5 Mark III, then I don't think the EP pen would be a nice backup body, I think. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me to have EM5 Mark III and then a pen. But then again, if you have like an OM1 and EPL7, then it makes more sense. Because EM5 is like in between, right? The EM5 Mark III is already so small. If you compare the EM5 Mark III and a pen, let's say one of the pen cameras, say EPL10, it's not like that much difference of size, right? It's almost very similar. Wolfie says, I hit the dirt more than a brand new circuit recruit at the sound of the sergeant's sneeze, no matter if it's concrete, dirt, mud, or through puddle to make a goldfish happy. Okay. He says, I like the rectangle shaped pen cameras. Yeah, there's a certain charm in the design, right? I think all the pen cameras are beautiful. I think one of the most beautiful ones is EPL7. I think EP5 is pretty nice. EPL7 is really nice. I don't really like the Pen F shape. To be really honest, I'm not a fan of Pen F. I really said this from day one. I can see why a lot of people like its design, all right? But I prefer EPL7 any day, or EP5, for example. Wolfie says, I adore the rangefinder flat top plate cameras because they go in and out of the pocket so easily and quickly with a lovely pancake or small prime lens. That's true. Drawn says, instead of pen lineup, we may see OM10 without EVF. What defines an OMD camera, right? When we have EM10, EM5, EM1. What defines an OMD camera? There are a few things. 1, dual dial control. 2, EVF. 3, image stabilization. So by removing the H1 viewfinder or the viewfinder from the camera, then it's no longer an OM camera. It will not be named. It may be. I'm not saying that they're not going to make another camera without an H1 viewfinder. It may not be a pen camera, but if it doesn't have a viewfinder, it will not be an OM camera. It may be something else, right? Because an OM camera, if you look at any OM camera, OM1, OM5, EM1, EM5, EM10, all these OMD cameras will have an electronic viewfinder in the camera, built in. Asram says, I will go to the wedding of my nephew in 2 weeks. I will probably have my OM1 with the 12-100 at home and bring my Pen F with the 14-42 pancake and the 75 1.8. Nice to have small cameras. I'll probably say Pen F with 14-42 is more than good enough. But depends on what you want to do. If you have other like 25 1.8 or 45 1.8, those prime lenses with bright apertures will also do magic, like really, really amazing, give you really different results compared to the pancake lens. Not saying the pancake lens is not great, but I will actually take those prime lenses with me. All right, let me see if there's any members chat. We have one. I'll read this. Roy in Capture says, I need a better tripod, but I can't justify paying 300 on some metal sticks. My tripod is 300 ringgit, so it's less than 100 US dollars. It's a travel tripod, so it's meant to be light. I just need something to put a camera on to film myself talking, so I'm not even really using it for photography, really. If you are using it for some serious photography, shooting stars or star trails or anything, maybe you might want to get a better one. All right, let me put a pause on the chat and drink some coffee. Drink some water as well. It's been an hour, and I'm gonna do my photo sharing. Yeah. Gotta stay hydrated. Hey. Okay. These photographs are from the past. I took this in 2019, I think, so it's like 6-7 years ago. And these photographs were from the time when I was testing the EPL10. So they were all shot with the Olympus EPL10. I don't have this anymore. This belonged to Olympus Malaysia at that time when Olympus Malaysia was still around and I was still the Olympus visionary. So I tested this camera and I'm not even sure if this made it to my YouTube channel. Did I have... Maybe it did. EPL10. Oh yeah. Interesting. It was on my YouTube channel. So yeah, I already have my YouTube channel back then, and I reviewed this camera for Olympus Malaysia, when Olympus Malaysia was still around. Okay, I think I used mostly kit lenses, 14 to 42 exact, 40 to 150R, and maybe some prime lenses. I'll mention if I did. I tested this for street photography, doing some casual snapshots, as well as shooting a theatre performance at Kuala Lumpur Performing Arts Centre, KLPAC, who is one of my clients. So yeah, here are some shots. If I remember correctly, they were shot in JPEG, but the photographs don't look like I shot in JPEG. So my memory is playing tricks on me. Well, to be fair, it's been 5 years now, 4 or 5 years ago. So anyway, here are the photographs. Of course, gotta shoot Lego Robin, and if you guys don't realize, your kit lens, this is the 14 to 42, can go really close, right? Zoom all the way to 42, get as close as possible, and get this nice close-up shot. That's some nice flat white, so I put my Lego Robin there. I thought the colors matched really nice. The warm tones of the coffee matches the red and yellow, green color from the Robin Lego. Right. And yeah, this restaurant is still around. It's Wizards. The cafe is called Wizards. It's at Tribeca. It's not far from Bukit Bintang. It's actually in Bukit Bintang. It's between Pavilion, Bukit Bintang, and TRX, Tun Razak Exchange. It's right in between. I think it's nearer to Tun Razak Exchange, but it's right in the middle. Yeah. So yeah, some burger and fries. Some of the hipster overpriced food. Also shot with the kit lens. They said that, oh, kit lens can't get good shots. I disagree. I think if you can't get good shots with a kit lens, then maybe you shouldn't upgrade to a better lens. Yeah. And some flat lay, a very typical hipster flat lay kind of shot. Some of this food, I really miss them because either they took it out from the menu or they changed it somehow. They don't look the same and they don't taste the same anymore. I think as a good cafe or restaurant, they have to constantly tweak or change the menu, but nothing stays the same, right? This was so many years ago. So if I go there now, I probably can't have this same burger or that same rice bowl anymore. Things are different already. Just a different perspective. I mean, it's free for you to take photographs as many as you want from different angles. I always advise try different angles, different perspective. Flat lay, you have the tilt screen, so it's very easy to execute. And then try from a 45 degrees angle. And one of the tips that I always give is try to zoom in. This was probably zoomed to 25 millimeters or 50 equivalent. So you have this compressed perspective, like not everything is appearing too far away, right? So you want to bring it a little bit closer to the lens, yeah. Right, and the colors are amazing. I mean, I remember it was, okay, maybe I was wrong. It wasn't really JPEG. Maybe it was raw and processed. I don't know. I can't remember. I need to check the video to see what I said back then. Pandan cake. It was really nice. Some dessert to finish off everything. This one, I remember this was shot at 1/13 of a second. I don't know why I went so slow with the shutter speed. Maybe I was just testing the image stabilization. It worked really well. And this shot, obviously, you can see that it's a little bit backlit when you have glass or you have the eyes or things that are a little bit transparent or translucent, even the coffee itself. Having a backlit will make everything glow. There's a certain shine to it. So you angle it in a way that you have a little bit of backlit, so you have a nice, different kind of look to the photograph. So yeah, just asking you guys to turn the camera around, exploring different angles and see what kind of lighting works. Right. This was in Kuala Lumpur Performing Arts Center. I remember I was using the 40-150R, and because it's f4 to 5.6 and the lighting wasn't really great, a lot of these shots were taken with ISO 6400 or higher. Some of the shots were taken with ISO 12800, and it was these shots that I remember I was actually shooting JPEG. I wasn't really shooting RAW because I don't remember making much adjustments, just cropping or only, right? I could be wrong. Maybe they were shot with RAW. Maybe I could be wrong. And then post-process with OM. That time is Olympus Workspace. It wasn't OM Workspace yet. Yeah. This was, I think, ISO 3200. Let me see if I can open up my files to make sure that I don't give wrong information. Give me a moment. Where was it? Strange stuff. If I can open up the file info. EPL 10. This was ISO 3200. Right? Okay, where was the other window? Okay. Okay, next photo. Also 40-150R. Zoom to how much? 49 millimeters. ISO 4000. This is ISO 4000. Okay. And then this was 135 millimeters. You can see I got really close to the man. And this was ISO 6400 at 1/100 of a second. ISO 6400. No joke. This was ISO 3200 again. 53 millimeters, 40-150R. 1/50th of a second. The image stabilization really works to keep it steady. Right? And the colors, even if I shot in RAW, was straight out of camera. I did not adjust the colors. This was ISO 12800. 150 millimeters at 1/125 of a second shutter speed. Full zoom, 150. ISO 12800 at 1/125 second shutter speed. And I can't go slower than that because she was obviously moving a little bit. And at 150 millimeters, that's 300 equivalent. You do not want your shutter speeds to be too slow. You gotta be a bit careful. And especially EPL 10, it doesn't have 5-axis image stabilization. It has only 3-axis, but then again, I find that the 3-axis IS was really good already. I have no issue using it whatsoever. Yeah. Next, I think this was also ISO 12800 on EPL 10. 58 millimeters, 1/125. Obviously, a lot of movement here. I can't be like shooting at 1/20th, 1/30th of a second. I force the shutter speed to be above 1/100. I also don't want to go to ISO 25600. This ISO 12800. And if you really look carefully at the photograph, if you enable full screen on your computer monitor, if you're a large screen, or if you're watching on a TV, you can see that there are traces of noise in the image. And I don't care really. My clients don't care. They were perfectly happy with this photograph, honestly. They didn't come back to me and say, "Oh, Robin, there's too much noise in your photograph." And yes, I know you can clean it up with AI denoise software. Easy, not a problem. But my point is, a little bit of noise is not the end of the world. And honestly, a little bit of noise, nobody cares. It's only us photographers that are very insecure about the noise being visible in the photograph. We are the ones that are making things difficult for ourselves. And here, in this photograph, this ISO 12800, I think it perfectly captures the moment. I think it perfectly captures the intensity of that particular scene in the theater play where the guy is hiding under the bench and the lady is putting the leg up like that. It captures everything in that frame, right? And I don't think we should fear about noise and everything. You just have to focus on the moment, and when you capture the moment, that's all that matters at the end of the day, right? This was ISO 3200. When it's brighter, of course, I tone down the ISO numbers. You don't need very high ISO, right? This was 78 millimeters, still 40-150. All the shots were taken with 40-150. This was ISO 3200 as well, right? ISO 3200 on Olympus Pen, no problem. Even ISO 6400, not an issue. And I've shown you already when I took the ISO 12800 photo, it was fine, right? Not a problem. This was ISO 6400. And you still can see that the colors it still holds up very well. One of the things that people always complain about when shooting high ISO is that it's not so much of the noise, but it affects the tonality of the image, it affects the color fidelity. Like you see the colors are a bit washed out, the photos don't look, the contrast is not the same, it's flatter and everything. But I think from my experience shooting with Micro Four Thirds cameras, especially Olympus cameras, the colors, the tonality, the contrast, they still hold up very well, even at very high ISO. There's not that much degradation. Yes, you see the noise. Sorry, I should drink more water. Yes, you see the noise. Noise is not a problem. I care about how the overall rendering looks. I care about the image quality, right? Noise is just one part of it, one small part of it. I care about all the other things, like do the photographs look realistic? Is it too flat? How is the colors? I think here, it still looks perfectly fine. I don't really care about everything else, right? Yeah. And the next one would be this ISO 6400 again. You can see that the fire, everything still looks pretty good. I just love the 40-150R lens. It is truly underappreciated. I think it's a fantastic lens. If you don't have the lens, you don't have to spend too much money on the Pro lens, I think this is a must-have lens. It's so cheap, and yet you get this amazing, come on, look at these results. I don't think anyone will think these are bad photographs coming up from a small pen cameras, right? Yeah. I think this was ISO 3200. ISO 3200, but I did slow down the shutter speed to 1/40th of a second. About 49 millimeters, 1/40th of a second. So that when there's not too much movement, you can play with the shutter speed a little bit and you can drop the ISO numbers so you get a cleaner result. ISO 3200 here, right? Not a problem. And yeah, it's just so fun shooting this play. It's just so amazing. ISO 3200 again. The colors are very well retained. You can see the scene as is. I just love shooting live theater. I just love shooting all these plays for Kuala Lumpur Performing Arts Centre. A lot of this performing arts live stage play, it's just so fun to watch, and it's just even more fun to shoot. I enjoy doing all this photography. Obviously, if you haven't figured out, yeah, it's one of the things that I do a lot. Yeah, this is going close. ISO 3200, 150 millimeters, 1/100th of a second, right? And this is what I talk about, the moment, right? When you see this facial expression and the body language and the way he contorts his body and also put up the hand and the way the eyeballs are being, open up so wide. And that's the moment that you want, or else all the photos will look very, very boring. So you want these dramatic moments, you want this intense emotion. And instead of worrying about all this technical quality of the photograph, whether it has noise or not, whether the dynamic range is there or whatever, instead of worrying about all these problems, focus on capturing the moments, because at the end of the day, these are the things that truly matter, and these are the things that the clients are looking for, and these are the things that will make your photographs look really, really good. Not noise, not being noise-free, whatever. You can deal with that later, but just capture the photograph, capture the moments first, all right? That's what you should be focusing on. Yeah, and these are just some of the street shots that I have. I'm not going to bore with another 20 photographs of street shots. These are just some of the street shots taken outside, 14-42. Again, the kit lens is fantastic. I've already said this already. If you can't get good shots with a kit lens, maybe you shouldn't be upgrading to the better lens. Yeah, just some street shots to finish off the first set of photographs, right? Let me just close up this window. I love this because this has a lot of layers. I zoom into 42 millimeters. You can see like the two buildings in front on the left and the right, and then the yellow building in the middle, and then there's another building with the blue glass window at the back, and there's another one. It's like there's multiple layers of building stacked on each other in this one frame. I just love how they all come together nicely, and there's like a very different interplay of colors. Yellow is dominant here. The building on the left and the building in the middle is yellow, but there's also like the blue window at the back, and there's a red tile roof and some green. It all comes together very, very nicely. I just love how everything just fits nicely. Yeah. last few shots. And this one, of course, I'm trying to put a few things together. There's a well, which is very interesting because we don't use that well anymore. I think the well was used, like, I don't know, maybe 30, 50 years ago. Nobody uses that well anymore. There's a well there. There's a family there. There's a kid looking at me on the left at the back. And then there's some mannequins being discarded on the right, which I thought, like, things don't make sense. That's the thing about street photography, right? Sometimes you put a few things together, you match them, they don't necessarily make sense. Like, why is the whale there? What is the family doing there? Why are the mannequins there? It doesn't make sense, but they all fit together nicely. Yeah, and this is the last shot. A tailor or someone trying to sew something outside. This is at Chow Kit, by the way, just by the road, which I thought was really nice. Also using the kit lens, trying to get this shot. And it wasn't taken with a very fast shutter speed. I intentionally slowed down the shutter speed so that you can see some movement there. This is very dangerous because either you get the shot or everything is blur. There's always a gamble and there's always a risk. If you don't take risks, then you don't get any results, right? Or any rewards. So yeah, so I intentionally slowed down the shutter speed to get a little bit of motion blur, but it doesn't really matter. It was just playing around. So these are the shots taken with the EPL10. I hope you guys enjoyed that. All these photographs were also shown many, many years ago in my EPL10 review video. It was already used there. There were more photographs there. So if you want more photographs, if you want my thoughts on EPL10, please feel free to check out my EPL10 review, which was done many, many years ago. And yeah, I hope you guys love that. Just some nice throwback looking at the photographs that I've taken many years ago. And I still think that these photographs are still very good today, especially the photographs that I've taken at the Kuala Lumpur Performing Arts Centre, the live stage performance. I thought that was really good, and I think today, even if I have the EPL10, I'll be very happy using it. Why not? I'm happy using the EPL7. I have the EPL7. EPL7 is mine. So if I have the EPL10, I think I'll be perfectly happy with the camera. I think an updated, bringing us back to today's topic, right? OM Digital Solutions should bring back an Olympus Pen. I think an EPL 11 or whatever. The next EPL series or pen camera should have the 20 megapixels image sensor. Doesn't have to be the same one as the OM1 or OM1 Mark II or OM3. It can be the older 20 megapixel sensor with the face detection autofocus from the EM1 Mark II, EM1 Mark III, right? Maybe they can put in some AI computational stuff to make the autofocus a little bit better. I don't know. They can do a lot of things these days. Put in a more powerful processor, put in some nice features in it. I think the camera will definitely fly. Improve the autofocus, improve the image sensor, right? Better image quality, and of course, make sure the autofocus works for video as well, and make sure that the camera is also vlogging ready or it's made for content creator. Like, for example, make sure it has a microphone input because all the pan cameras these days, they lack the microphone input. I don't know why. So make sure it has a microphone input and make sure that the screen, well, there's a way for it for us. Doesn't matter whether it's swivel or flip. If it's flip, then make sure it flicks up so that we can see ourselves when we are filming ourselves using the camera. I think that will really make a difference. All right, yeah, before I reply to the chat, I'm out of focus. OM1, what happened? I'm out of focus. Anyway, let me drink more coffee and drink some water. I'll get to the chat. I have one more set of photographs to share later. One more set of photographs. There goes the coffee. No more coffee. Just gotta stay hydrated. Okay, let's get to the members chat first, if there's any. We have a few. Wow, I'm really behind the chat. I'll do my best to catch up. Roy Catcher says, a good April Fool's prank, April Fools, I think, OM could do, they can say they're releasing a new pen and then it's just a ballpoint pen with OM logo. Nah, if they do that, a lot of people will be really, really mad. Don't play with our feelings like that, man. I personally find Olympus colors better than Canon. Canon is really neutral tones, which is good. Sometimes, like headshots, Olympus is perfectly vibrant and eye-catching. You will find that Olympus colors for the low-level cameras like the EM10 and EPL7 colors are more punchy and highly saturated. If you compare with, say, the EM1, EMR Mark II or OM1 colors is a little bit more neutral. And it's the same with Canon as well. The Canon's higher level cameras like 5D cameras or 1D series cameras, right? They'll have more neutral colors, whereas the entry-level cameras, the DSLR days like 500D or 60D, all those cameras would have more saturated colors. It's more pleasing to the overall consumers. Yeah. Okay, let's get to the non-members. I'm a bit behind. I'll do my best to catch up. Jerry Hukari says, I'm fine, just bought new eyeglasses. My photos look much better now. Sometimes we don't realize that the most important lens is the lens in front of us, right? Our eyes have lenses, of course, and if you don't have the perfect vision, then these lenses are the most important lenses that you should have, besides the lenses on your camera. Xmida says, well, JPEG, I know guys who store and share developed pictures in PNG or TIFFs. I don't think TIFFs make any sense in this day and age. It makes sense back then, but I don't think it's just too large. Like, seriously. Woofy says, this reminds me of the comments about only real photographers shoot in Adobe RGB color profile. I shoot in sRGB because that's what they end up on the web, and I even print sRGB and it looks fine. If you shoot RAW, it contains all the data, right? Whether it's sRGB or Adobe RGB. But if you convert it to JPEG, or if you shoot JPEG in camera, then you gotta choose Adobe or sRGB. You gotta be careful though, because what you edit on your computer screen may not be what is seen or being printed by other people, so the colors may be a little bit off or it doesn't look the same at all. The tones are different. So if you do a lot of web display work, if you shoot primarily for social media, then sRGB, like perfectly fine. But if you do printing, well, you might want to dive into the color science a little bit. That's a different language that I'm not qualified to talk about. Yeah. Thomas says, didn't the old Olympus cameras from the early 2000s have a TIFF option? Of course they have, of course. But then again, why? These days, you don't really need TIFF anymore. Process says, your video colors look fine. I'm not that interested in videos, so I know very little about it. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Micro drives, oh my god, I have a 2.2 gigabytes Magic Store CF card. It was a massive leap from my original 6 megapixels Canon digital Rebel. Who says, you do have to know that Jordan buys Blu-rays and watches movies on 4K high-end TV with HDR and cinema sound. His video requirements and expectations are very high grade and he judges cameras on that. And it's fine because he reviews cameras specifically on the video shooting part, the video capabilities, right? So being a video reviewer, he needs to go the extra length. But I'm talking about making content on YouTube. Who cares if I don't have a cinematic quality, right? As long as I look pleasant, as long as everything looks presentable, and all that I have to focus on is the quality of my content, my delivery, right? What am I sharing in my video? Whatever that I'm presenting, are they useful for my audience? If you come and watch my video, do you take away something useful or helpful out of it? And if you spend some time watching my video, do you get something out of it? That's what I should focus on when I make my videos, not so much on the cinematic quality or how the B-rolls look or 120 frames per second slow motion, that kind of thing. I think those things will look really good. The high-end production, like, you know, some of the YouTubers, they really go all out in making sure that they have the best possible the video quality and everything. But to me, it makes no sense. I'm just using the platform to talk about photography, and as long as my photographs are good, everything goes, right? Like, it doesn't really matter if I'm not like at shooting at 8K or open gates or 120 frames per second or having super high bit rate, or I shoot everything in log and then or raw video raw, and then using all these advanced post-production methods in color grading and LUTs and whatever. I don't really care, really. It just makes things harder. It makes my workflow more complicated and it slows me down. I just want a simpler workflow. I want to pump out as many videos as I can so that I can continue to talk to you guys and share as much as I can with you guys. I want to shoot more. I don't want to spend too much time in my post-production. I want to go out, shoot more photographs. That's where I really enjoy what I enjoy doing at the end of the day. Yeah. Excellent what? Nick? Prosley says, for the future, they should skip EM10 APL in favor of continuing the pen line. EPL is Pen. Olympus Pen Lite. Few models will be good in the way. Okay, well technically the EP7 was not really launched everywhere, so it's sort of like they don't even make it available worldwide. Thomas says they need something better than 20 megapixels. They need something better than 20 megapixels for the OM1 or the flagship level series cameras. So let's say OM1 Mark III, then yes, maybe they need to come up with 33 megapixels or I don't know, 28 megapixels or something, a new sensor with better dynamic range, high ISO, all the good stuff. But for a pen camera, which is supposed to be entry level, something that's accessible, something that shouldn't be making too expensive, it doesn't make sense for them to put like a better sensor in the Pen series camera that is even better performing than say the OM1 Mark II. I think the OM1 Mark II users or the customers will cry. They will scream at OM system like, what the hell are you doing? How can you put a better sensor in the low level camera whereas we spend so much money on your top tier camera and we get this low resolution sensor, right? It doesn't make sense. So whatever better sensor, I agree with you, Thomas, I agree. But it should be in the flagship camera first, right? Like why do we put it in the Pen line? Makes zero sense. Makes zero sense to me. Farger says, if smartphone camera sensor has Micro Four Thirds size, do we need Micro Four Thirds camera? Because flagship smartphone now include camera lens kit, as we know Xiaomi 70 Ultra, X300 Ultra. Yeah, but then again, I look at the Xiaomi 70 Ultra, honestly, the image quality, like they sent a group of people from Malaysia to China. God knows how much that costs, marketing side of things. And they take a lot of photographs, whether it's in daytime or nighttime, whatever. They share it on the social media. I look at them, I'm like, wow. I can only come to one conclusion. Smartphone cameras have stagnated. I don't see any progress in terms of smartphone camera quality in the past 4 or 5 years. I don't see the wow factor in the smartphone images. They look flat. They look uninteresting, especially the night photo. There's so much noise reduction going on that there's no details left. There's nothing. Everything just looks plastic. It looks so unnatural. Maybe it's the AI processing. And the colors look so they're not realistic at all. Like, I don't know, like maybe these are what people like. I don't know, like general consumers. But as a photographer, when I look at the photographs, I'm like, no, I don't want this type of photographs, right? So I'm sorry, I haven't seen the Vivo's photograph, honestly, but whatever that's coming out from the Xiaomi 17 Ultra, I am not impressed. I'm sorry, I just had to be honest. I'd rather use, say, an Olympus EPL7 or the original EM5 from 2012. That's like, what, 14 years now. And I'll get way better photos. Like, whatever they have shared earlier here, like, all these photographs look way better than whatever that's coming out from the Xiaomi camera. Trust me. There's a certain realism when you look at them. It looks organic, it looks real, right? But the Xiaomi just looks flat. Like, really, I don't know. Like, I don't know if you guys see it or not. Maybe I'm just dreaming or it's my delusion, right? I don't know. Ruby says, fun fact, Panasonic GM1 is the third most expensive used camera in MPB. All right. It shows that there's a huge demand for small cameras, right? Like, I don't know what Panasonic and OM Digital Solutions are doing. They should really be paying attention to all this data. And this data is supposed to help them to strategize their products better, right? To maximize their earnings in the market, to sell more cameras. Like, I don't know. Ayoyo says, I have a pen, I have a pineapple. Okay, good for you. CM Smart says, 100% would love to have a camera in a pen or GX form factor with updated specs, face detection, autofocus. Just put the OM3 in a pen body. OM Digital Solutions. Nah, if they have the OM3, they will not put it in a pen body, right? That's why I said, like, if they wanted to make a Pen F Mark II, they would have made it instead of giving us the OM3. The fact that we get the OM3 means that the Pen F Mark II will not happen. Yeah. Jesus says, I have created my own Ricoh GR with the Olympus Pen EPL5 and the Panasonic 14. So happy with this combination. Yeah. I think, yeah, and it's better in some ways, right? You can change lens, whereas the Ricoh GR, you're pretty much stuck with whatever lens that you have. And the screen on the EPL5 is, okay, maybe not EPL5, EPL7 has a better screen. I remember the EPL5 screen wasn't that great. I gotta be honest here. If it's good, it's good. If it's not that good, it's not that good. But EPL7, for example, has an amazing screen. It's brighter and it's more visible in bright sunlight compared to the GR series camera, and it's tiltable, right? Whereas the GR series doesn't have a tilt screen. It depends on which GR. I know the GR4 has better image stabilization now. It's quite a powerful 5-axis image stabilization. I've tested it, I've verified it. I'm quite impressed with what Ricoh GR has been doing. But the GR3, however, the image stabilization is it's almost like you have no image stabilization at all. So you have like the EPL7, for example. It has some better image stabilization compared to the Ricoh GR. Yeah. Don Gum says, I have an EP1, EP5, EM5, EM5 Mark II. I see the EM5 Mark II a lot. The EP5 is my favorite, yeah, because it's smaller and the design is so beautiful, right? I think EP5 is just amazing. You adapted the Vivitar lens on a Nikon Z6. I understand. I hope you enjoy it though. Don Gum says, I would love for OM Digital Solutions to bring out a new pen camera with the vibe of the EP5 and an upgraded sensor, as well as of some of the newer features or some of the new cameras that they have. Yeah, I hope it happens. I hope it happens. I don't know. EP7 is already discontinued. And that's like 3 years already, right? And they're not doing anything at all. So yeah, no worries, Roger. Glad I can share about the tripod and image stabilization, right? Prosty says, from some interview, they also said that image stabilization turns off by itself on tripod. No, it does not. It does not turn off. It will be smart enough not to overcompensate, right? But it doesn't turn off. If you turn it on, it's fully on. Yeah. Wolfie says, my frustration with all Olympus ambassadors and representatives is that every time I mention the things that OM3 lacks or wasn't updated, they just ignore me and spit out specs per price, and how no other camera does what OM3 does at that price. I also think that they are probably in a difficult situation where they are bound by certain rules. I don't know what their contracts are, like when they agree to be an ambassador. Maybe there are certain things that they can and cannot say. I don't know. When I was an ambassador or a visionary, I made it very clear to Olympus at that time that I will say whatever I want. You can't stop me. And I think I was in a unique position because by then I'm quite known within the Micro Four Thirds circle, right? And I have a blog that I know a lot of people have emailed me and commented on my article saying that they bought Olympus cameras and lenses after they read my articles. I've influenced a large number of sales. So I was in a unique position where like, I don't care. If you don't let me, I'll just walk. So I was one of the few people that I'm free to do whatever I want. I'm free to say whatever I want. So even when the Pen F came out, mind you, at that time, I was an employee. I was an Olympus employee working for Olympus when Pen F came out, and I dared to say that I'm not a fan of that camera. And there were some things that I complained about the handling of the camera. I was 100% honest from day one, even when I was an official employee for Olympus Malaysia. Yes, I got into some trouble. Some of the higher ups, the management, they were not happy with my honesty. But I told them, like, if I'm not honest, people don't listen to me. So you want people to actually follow my blog or not? Do you want my credibility to stay intact or not? It's either I just say 100% of the good things, right? And I lose everyone. Like, you wouldn't listen to me if I'm not honest, right? And then that's why I'm able to be doing this for such a long time, and people still come and watch my videos and they still read my articles because I'm as honest as I can be. I'm not saying I'm not biased. I am biased. We are all biased. It's subjective. Camera reviews are subjective. But within my capability, within whatever that I can do, I try to be as straightforward and as honest as I can. I can't say the same with other ambassadors or other YouTubers or people who shoot for OM system now, or who are heavily involved with OM system. I can understand where they're coming from, where they may not be able to say bad things about certain cameras. Like for example, when EM1X, this is before OM system, when EM1X came out, all the ambassadors, not all, but many of us, we were in a trip to South Africa. We were like, holy crap, this is a massive camera. Like, what the hell? why is this camera so huge? This is totally against what Micro Four Thirds was going for. A lot of ambassadors agreed with me like, this is weird. This is just uncalled for. Why? The EM1X doesn't make sense, but they can't openly say it. I said it. I said EM1X was too large. I said it from day one. I wish it was smaller, right? And I wish it has a new sensor. I said it from day one. But anyway, like, you know, I understand their situation. They are in a very difficult position where they may not be able to comment freely. I hope you understand that, Wolfie. So you going in and trying to, you know, pressure them to answer certain things. You know, you can't expect them to say the same things as I'm saying now, because, you know, like, even when I was ambassador, when I worked for Olympus, I have a certain leverage that they don't have. I sounded really, really horrible. Anyway, thanks for the super chat. Someone gave a super chat. Thanks, Lucas, for the support. Searching for an adventure weather suit Micro Four Thirds lens. What would you recommend? Climbing mountains, photographing northern lights. I have an Olympus camera. If you want an all-round lens, depends on your budget. Maybe you can look for the 12-100 Pro. I think it's a fantastic, rugged, weather-sealed all-round lens. Or if you're short of budget, but you still want a weather sealing on your lens, then maybe 14-150 Mark II. I don't have a video on the 14-150, but yeah, these are the lenses you want to look out for. 14-150 Mark II or the 12-100 Pro lens. However, to capture northern lights will be a bit tricky though. You can't do, I'm not saying you can't, I think these lenses may not be wide enough, but if you don't mind spending a little bit more money, the Panasonic 9 f1.7 would be a great lens because it's wide angle, it's weather sealed, and it's f1.7 to shoot northern lights. I think that's fantastic. Not sure if it's wide enough though. Hey, I gotta be honest, I've never shot northern lights. Okay, I've never been so far up north or south, or you're talking about northern lights, right? So it's north. I've never shot any northern lights before. I'm assuming you need a wide angle. I'm assuming you need f1.7 bright aperture or at least f2.8. But for everything else, for, you know, the adventure, climbing mountains, a weather sealed lens, you may look at the 14-150 Mark II if you are on a budget, or if you have more money to throw around, the 12-100 f4 Pro. All right. Yeah. Okay, let me get to the members chat. We have a few here. I have a second set of photographs I'm going to share. Hey Kevin, how are you? Very good to see you here. I have a mate who runs his Narrow Boat YouTube channel with an iPhone 12. It's more about content and the quality is fine. For what he needs is his wife that is the Micro Four Thirds camera buff with great eye. Yes, actually, YouTube is not about, you know, like you have to do like Hollywood quality kind of production, or you're not making movies from the cinema or TV production, right? YouTube is your broadcasting yourself. As long as what you share is fun, enjoyable, and beneficial for your viewers, and when your viewers spend some time watching you doing your stuff, they find that it's you know, it benefits them, then I think it's a win-win. Your viewers will enjoy it regardless of whether it's a high quality production or if it's just an iPhone recorded quality. It's good enough, right? In fact, some of the higher view videos out there, they were just shot on a smartphone, like what Kevin is saying, right? The nice thing about EPL Ed is I don't get my fingers in the shots with the 7 Artisans 4 fish. Yeah, thanks for the lens, by the way. Yeah, Kevin gave me the fisheye lens, which is a fantastic, fun lens to use. It's like 180 degrees all over, right? More than 180 degrees. It's crazy, yeah. Andrew says, Malaysia don't have northern lights. What we have is light pollution. We are not at the north. We are right in the center, man. We're right at the center. Right, I'll reply to a few more chats and I'll get to the second set of photographs. Just a few photographs, not a lot. Wolfie says, I stopped trying to interact with them since they live in their own bubble and all I get back from them is, don't say that. It's not easy being an ambassador, trust me. I was an exception, I gotta say, because before I was ambassador, I already helped them sell like countless cameras and lenses. Like, it's a known fact. I was able to sell cameras. So when I went in as an ambassador or a visionary, I had a lot more bargaining power. Maybe that's why they don't like me, right? After that, it's like, oh, this Robin is too honest. He's just saying all the bad things about Olympus products. Let's not have him as an ambassador. That's why they just cut me off like for that 1 year, and I finally quit, right? I was put in a cold storage. That's why, I wasn't a top priority to them because I don't say all the nice things about Olympus, right? Or OM system. And honestly, that's not the right strategy to go. Like, if you want someone who is credible, someone who can really help you to sell products, you need someone who is more, like independent, more honest. That's where people can trust what they say, right? I don't know. I honestly, at these days, I don't care. I just want to have fun doing my photography, doing my shutter therapy sessions with all these strings attached, right? 120 scans per second, yeah. Panasonic went 240 per second, introduced GH3 and 480 with GH5 and later, yeah. So it was the first with 120, and then of course when EM5 came, it was 240 already, EM5 and EM1. So that's the same time as GH3, GH4, yeah. Yeah, so when 120 scans per second in EP3, it clearly improved autofocus a lot, right? A lot, yeah. Autofocus, manual focus, clutch on lens. But you were talking about on the Pen F, right? So it was a camera feature that was referred to earlier, not lens. So yeah, it wasn't referring to a camera feature on Pen F because it was specifically on Pen F. So it was referring specifically on a camera, not lens. Yeah. Kim Crimson says, design of EPL7 is nice. I love the EPL1, but its performance is meh. Yeah, EPL1 is too far apart. EPL1 to EPL7, that's like 6-7 generations apart, right? Of course EPL7 is going to be better, yeah. Maybe the upcoming Insta360 micro four thirds camera, I will be very, very sad if that happens. Like, do you see Peter Forsgard review of the Insta360 camera? There's so much lag. It's almost unusable as a camera. Yeah, Marky says, I found the EP7 is actually very serviceable with the LCD. It's not one for not using EVF, and it's pretty. I'll choose one with EVF if I have a choice. But here's the thing. If you want an EVF, there's so many cameras out there with EVF. Like, why? Like if you go for pen, then embrace the no EVF-ness. Embrace the LCD screen. Like, there's so many cameras with EVF for you to choose from. It's not like we are lacking cameras, right? Yeah. Just a few more chat and then I'll share the second set of photograph. Hoyin Lee says, will you do a review of the Sigma 56 f1.4? No. Because I did a review for the 16 f1.4 and people don't agree with what I find. I find that a waste of time. And then I did a review for Sigma 30 f1.4. It bombed. Nobody cares about Sigma lenses, so why want to waste time buying a lens that I don't need? And I know that nobody's going to watch my review anyway. It's an old lens. So whatever review is out there, whatever they need to know about the lens, it's already out there. So just search Sigma 56 1.4. Everyone's going to tell you that it's sharp, it has nice bokeh, it's a good alternative to 75 1.8, blah, 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 blah. I don't think I have anything useful to add to that lens. So I think it's just a waste of time. Yeah. Lenny the Lens says, hi Robin, hey, how are you? Good to see you here. OM system haven't moved forward much with the current camera internals, so why not just release a Pen F with updated processor and autofocus? If they want to do that, they would have done that. I guess the reason they gave us the OM3 means that screw Pen F. Fuji are doing okay working that way with their range. Well, Fuji is Fuji, right? OM doesn't have the funds or the resources that the Fuji has now. Fuji is quite huge at the moment. So okay, I'm going to put a pause here. I'm going to share the remaining photographs that I have. Now, I did some insect macro in the park nearby, and this time also in the spirit of talking about Olympus Pen or OM system should bring back the pen cameras. This was shot with the EPL7. Right, not EPL10. Earlier series, whatever I shared earlier, these are all with EPL10. Now, moving to the macro shots, this was EPL7 with the kit lens, Panasonic 12-32 pancake, and extension tubes. So I was making a video to talk about making a budget macro setup, as budget as possible, right? So you already have a camera and lens. You should have a camera that can change lens with a kit lens, doesn't matter what camera. So in this example, I was using EPL7, which was a budget camera from Olympus from more than 10 years ago. You should have a kit lens, doesn't matter if it's Olympus 14-42 or Panasonic 12-32, whatever kit lens. if you have other lenses, you like Olympus 45 1.8, that's fine, but at least you must have a basic kit lens, right? That's something that everyone has with a budget camera. All you need to do is just spend a little bit of money, maybe $20 on the extension tube, and a cheap flash. So I use a cheap flash, which I'm going to talk about next week. By the way, I bought a new flash. I'm going to talk about next week. Spoilers alert, which I also use in this video. It's talking about spending just maybe less than $100 to start macro photography and can get good results with it. So my message has always been consistent. You don't have to break the bank to do photography or enjoy photography. So in this sense, like if you don't want to buy a dedicated macro lens, if you just want to spend minimal amount of money, you can get an extension tube. You still have autofocus, you get great magnification, you don't lose image quality. There are some limitations which I talk about in the video. You can get a cheap flash. This flash that I was using was only about $50 US. $50. New flash, not even used, new, right? You will see that flash next week. So with the cheap flash and extension tube, I was using the APL7 and kit lens to get these shots. This was a shoe bug, which is really interesting. I shot this like a few weeks ago, which is really, really fun. It's a shoe bug and I go really close. This is the full magnification. Of course, it's not going to go as close as a true macro lens, but it's still very, very good. This bug is not exactly that tiny, so it's good enough to get a little bit of a macro shot, right? And this is the Mitch fly. Mitch, not a mosquito, looks like a mosquito, but it's not. This doesn't bite humans. This is a Mitch fly. You've seen this a lot in my other macro shots. There's a lot of this Mitch in the park nearby, so it has become like my staple model for my macro shots, which I've used a lot. Yeah. These are mothballs, I think. I checked on Google Lens, and the whatever larva that came out from these eggs, moth eggs, not mothballs, moth eggs. Whatever larva has come out and is empty already. These are moth eggs. Yeah, which is interesting. It was my first time seeing it. So every time I go out to do macro, it's my first time seeing something. It was my first time encountering this red shoe bug at this stage. There are different types of shoe bugs that I've shot. This is the first time I shot this. It's also the first time I shot the moth eggs. So it was pretty cool. Jumping spiders, I've shot them so many times already. So many times. Oh, the cool thing is also, not only in this video, but next week's video on the flash, it's my first time doing POV on my macro. So you get to see my LCD screen. So it's quite challenging. You're going to see that next week. POV macro. You see my LCD screen as I captured my macro shots. It shows that I'm not lying, right? This is cropped. I'm not going to lie to you. This is cropped. I can't get this close. You need like the 60 f2.8 to get this close. This is the closest I can get to the spider with this setup, the kit lens 12 to 32, together with the extension tubes. But this is a crop, which actually, look at the results, it's still not bad. It's not as good or not as the fine details or the sharpness, the level of contrast, it's not as good as a true macro lens, the 60 f2.8. But honestly, like for a cheap budget setup with a kit lens, you just have to spend $20 on the extension tube. You get these results. To me, honestly, I was already very, very happy with what I get. Right, no problem. Yeah, some ends. These are black ends, not red ends, although it seems a little bit brownish with the flash firing straight onto the ends. These are black ends, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Get quite close to them. I thought they look really, really nice. The shape of this end is unusual. It's not the usual ends that I see roaming around. I see mostly red ends. I have some red end shots as well later. I thought it was really nice. Right, these are of course the red ends. And I was really lucky. I accidentally enabled manual focus and I managed to cap. This was not in autofocus. This one shot was taken with manual focus. I was very lucky to get this shot. And this was of course autofocus. And you can look at that pincers. Those, man, like I've been bitten by these ants a lot. You know, they climb up my legs and they bite at different body parts. Sometimes they climb all the way to my neck and they bit my neck. It was so painful, these fire ants. Anyway, things that I do to get the shots. But yeah, you can get this. This is non-crop. I did not crop this shot. This is almost 100%. And this is a shot with the kit lens on the extension tube, which is crazy. You can get this close. And of course, the end is not that small. This end is huge. This is quite big. And of course, dragonfly. And yeah, this is the last shot already. Right, so I hope you guys enjoy the short series of macro shots taken with EPL7, an Olympus Pen camera with a kit lens. All I had to do is to use an extension tube and a cheap flash. I will share everything in full detail in one of my coming videos on how to spend minimal, just to spend a little bit of money. You can do some of these incredible inside macro shots, right? I'm all about enjoying photography while don't spend too much money. I hope you guys appreciate that. Let me drink some water. I'm getting a bit thirsty, and then I'm gonna reply to the rest of the chat and we'll call it a night. Yeah, time check, it's almost midnight here in Malaysia. Yes, Xmida, I agree with you. Yes, horrible user interface, Insta360, worst PC software. You don't want macro photos from these guys. I agree. Prosty says, we modern photographers obsess too much about noise. Yes, noise is not the end of the world. I started turning off the noise filter. I think the grain looks more natural even. Yes, right, I know. I usually shoot with noise filter low. Not off, just low. Yeah, composition and story is king. I agree with you, Ayoyo. Pucho says, hello from New York City. Hi, thanks for joining the stream. Why does everyone compare Micro Four Thirds to full frame? Micro Four Thirds is a type of crop sensor similar to APS-C. How does Micro Four Thirds compare to APS-C? Thank you for an informative video. I think there is not much difference, and if there is, it's negligible. The reason why people compare Micro Four Thirds to full frame is because full frame cameras, in terms of pricing, if you look at the flagship cameras, maybe not flagship cameras, but the flagship level cameras from Micro Four Thirds, they're selling over $2,000. With that kind of price, you can get like, let's say Canon R6 Mark II, R6 Mark III, or Sony A7 Mark IV, or even Mark V. These are the price range, similar price range of the flagship Micro Four Thirds camera. And because it's the same price range, they say, why not go full frame? Because, you know, you can get better dynamic range, more resolution, you get more high megapixel count, and better low light performance. And that's a valid argument. I am not here to defend Micro Four Thirds, although I am a Micro Four Thirds fan. You guys know that already. And I've said many times that Micro Four Thirds is sufficient for me. But I also see where these full frame arguments come from. It's like, you're paying the same price. Why don't you just buy a full frame camera and get more out of it? I agree with that as well. But hey, Micro Four Thirds has its strengths and weaknesses. Full frame cameras have its strengths and weaknesses. You just have to pick which camera that works for you. For example, if you want to create as shallow depth of field as possible, you know, you want to get, like, for example, a full frame 85 f1.2. You can't achieve that same effect with a Micro Four Thirds system. If that is important for you, depends on what type of work that you do. Or if you shoot constantly in low light situation where you need to use ISO 100,000 in your full frame cameras, something that you can't really do with Micro Four Thirds, then go full frame. You know, there is a place in time or situation where full frame is gonna win over Micro Four Thirds. But for the photography that I am doing, Micro Four Thirds is more than sufficient enough. I'm not going to repeat myself. You can look at all my other videos on the why I stay with Micro Four Thirds, why I'm using Micro Four Thirds in 2026, why I'm not going full frame. I made so many videos. If you guys want my reasons and my justification of using Micro Four Thirds, feel free to check out these videos. And honestly, the argument, I wouldn't say it's pointless. I wouldn't say that there's no point discussing full frame versus Micro Four Thirds. It's more on understanding which format works better for your kind of photography. It's not so much of one system is better than the other. That's not the real argument. And at the end of the day, just pick what works for you, right? Wolfie says, so I crop more these days. I need more reach, faster lens to freeze the moment, more magnification, and I shoot macro of the tiniest subjects. Then Micro Four Thirds is a better option, right? You have more magnification. Presley says, well, they compare it because it has similar costs and can do similar things. Yeah, that's why I said already. Roblox says, so technically 4/3 is full frame. It is. I talked about this before. Marcus says, saw a Nikon D800 for sale for $200 and was so tempted to pull the trigger, but I have to use it with a DX lens first. Just get some cheap full frame lens, right? Like the 50 1.8G or 85 1.8G. I don't think those lenses are expensive. Oli says, most kit lenses can be used if you know the limitations. I like the small Panasonic zooms. 12 to 32 is one. Yes, I've just shown using the 12 to 32 to shoot inside macro, right? And I thought those shots came out really well. Yeah, 35. Matt Zone says, but the difference between APS-C and macro photos is negligible, except for resolution. Always take the higher kit. Yeah, true, it's negligible. That's true. I use the Pen F for events as a second camera, but its ergonomics is so, I don't know. I don't enjoy using Pen F, but if you love it, go for it. Don't let me affect your experience or your opinion on the Pen F. I hate the Olympus 20 f1.7. Ollie says, I use TIFF as a middle state. They'll work with it in different software than initially. Nah, RAW is more than good enough to work in different softwares already. There's no need for TIFF as a middle ground. Yeah, autofocus is too slow. I missed too many shots with it. So, yeah, again, it's a flare problem, purple fringing problem. The rendering looks very flat. The bokeh looks very nervous. Nah, not for me. Yeah. Hey, great Vanzini, how are you? Good to see you here. Good morning to you too. Roger says, Robin, when shooting straight out of camera JPEG, what should you set for the noise reduction to? I don't care. I just usually turn it off or low depending on the situations. I never say it's a standard or high. But then I guess some people are so allergic to noise. If you're really allergic to noise, maybe you want to set the noise reduction to high. I don't know. Noise filter to high. Yeah, I keep it off. No problem whatsoever. All right. Oli Hansen says, I've made a few good pictures with the Pentax Q10. Very small sensor, but fun to use. Nah. I think 1 inch is the smallest that I'm willing to go to, like the Sony RX100 or Nikon J1. Anything smaller than that, I'd rather just use my smartphone. Yeah. EPL screen is okay, but on the strong side, it becomes useless. Yeah, that's where the EPL 7 has a massive improvement over the EPL 5. Trust me on this. Yeah. Video Car says, OM system, they wanted to make a weatherproof camera that the Pen F body couldn't be made weatherproof because of its screwless design. No room for a bigger battery either. Okay. Not sure what that's getting to. Ollie Hansen says EPL 5 shows a clip-on EVF. I have that. It's tiltable, but then it makes the camera look so big and weird and ugly. Then might as well just get a, if you want to use EVF, just get a EM5 or EM10, right? Yeah. Shutter clock. I don't care about shutter clock. Who cares about shutter clock anyway? The Great Vanzini says EPL 8 is my everyday carry. Good little shooter. I agree. There's no point giving them any feedback. The ambassadors are not there to take feedback, Wolfie. The ambassadors are there to sell cameras, if you have not figured that out yet. It's not their job to receive feedback. Yeah, Olympus 17 1.2 is great for Astro and Northern Lights, but is it wide enough to? A lot of them, they want like the cover the whole Milky Way, right? Then I think 17 is not really wide enough. I have shot landscapes with stars in dark skies with OM1 similar to f1.8. F1.8 is another lens that is suitable for night sky. That's another amazing lens. Let's get to the members. You guys are talking to each other, no worries. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate that. Great macro shots with minimal kit. To be honest, I think Olympus 60 macro needs an update, so it's so slow. Yeah, we talked about this already. I said that ON Digital Solutions should give us the 60f 2.8 macro Mark II. We need an updated lens for that. Future says, I think the E1X was uniquely great for sports and birding who carry the bazooka zoom lenses. Nah, it's just too large. And if I were to use such a large camera, I will not go Micro Four Thirds. There are better options out there. Way better options. Ollie says, the Samyang 7.5 fisheye is fun. I've shot some events with that lens. No autofocus, no go for Robin. I do miss the image stabilization from OM1 and Pro lenses. Yeah, that's quite something, alright? I think like today, I can't live without image stabilization if I want to do like actual serious jobs or doing anything serious with my camera. Pen says, pick me up. Sometimes GM1 the kids. Yeah, there's a fun factor with these cameras that, you know, the small cameras like the Pen F and especially the GM1 being so tiny, right? There's just something so fun about them. Like, they just want you to shoot, right? They want you to pick them up. I agree with you. The G80 is a gem. I've never used that camera. Sorry, Lucas says, I thought cross-brand weather setting is not that great. Nah. The cross-brand don't support image stabilization. 14140 wouldn't be that good for Olympus camera. 14140, if you use it on Olympus cameras, then you just use Olympus image stabilization. I've talked about this before, right? I don't know if you've seen this video. So if you have not, I highly suggest that you check it out. Gotta search my own channel. 14 to 140 millimeters. Yep. Share. Copy. Panasonic 14 to 140 mm on Olympus EM1. That's the video for you to check there. Wait. I think it's EM10. I could be wrong. Sorry about that. But it's on an Olympus camera. It's not a Panasonic camera. It's an Olympus camera. Andrew said, I'm still looking for a used Panasonic 9. It's like looking for a holy grail. I don't know if I told you this story, Andrew. So when I wanted to buy the Panasonic 9 f1.7 when it came out, I went to the Panasonic booth. I don't know if it's KLPF. I think it's KLPF or something similar, or the YL PGF fair or camera fair, something like that, a few years ago. And I went straight to the Panasonic booth and said, hey, I want to buy the Panasonic 9 f1.7. They said, oh, sorry, it's sold out. Mind you, it's only like less than a few weeks since the launch. So I understand it's highly in demand, it's sold out. So then I asked, like, how can I get it then? Like, you know, is there any way to pre-order or something? They said, no, there's no more, the lens sold out already. I was like, normally people say, oh, let me get your contact number. And then when our stock came in, we'll notify you, or, you know, maybe we'll help you find like which camera store has stock, and then, you know, you can get from that camera store. And they'll normally that's the way they sell lenses or cameras, right? They'll try their best, like, oh, maybe we'll get your details first, and then know when our fresh stock comes in, we'll send the lens to you or something like that. No, it's like, no, the lens sold out. I was like, okay, fine. I went online and bought the lens from Hong Kong. It's cheaper because it's gray unit, right? It's cheaper from Hong Kong. So I was like, I wanted to buy straight from them, and they don't even care about me. I was like, okay, you don't want me to buy your camera or lens? Fine, I'll just buy it from elsewhere. So kind of sad though, the way they do business in Malaysia. Panasonic Malaysia. Genref says, you can see the diffuser reflector in its eyes. Yeah, the AK diffuser. Yeah, the Great Vanzini says, if it ever stops raining here in Oregon, I'm going to take the 60 out for a walk, but not today. Aw, it's raining there, right? Ollie says, a lot of non-macro lenses are still usable for macro, something to test. Just buy to use the extension tube. Get the one with the electronic contacts so you can still control the aperture from your lens and you still have autofocus. Yeah. Wolfie says, very beautiful pictures. Thank you so much for saying that. Thank you for sharing. I enjoy your macro images very much. Appreciate that a lot, Wolfie. Ollie says, I can shoot most cameras from the last 15 years. Most of them are good. Yeah. There are no bad cameras, right? Only bad photographers. Thomas says, speaking of full frame, that new Tamron 35-100 f2.8 renders 2550 f1.7? Useless? Bigger range, shallow depth of field, less noise, smaller, lighter, and half the price. Okay. I'm not a fan of the Panasonic 2550, honestly. Not a fan of it. Musician Lucas says, has anyone tried the TT Artisan 25 f2? Does it have autofocus? If it has, then I'm interested. If it doesn't have, no autofocus, no go for Robin. 12 to 32, yes. Wheezy says, late joining due to work. Hi from Bath, UK. No worries. Welcome to the chat. We are about to close up things already. It's coming to the end. Ollie says, I also shoot from 35 to 4x5. That's amazing. Shoot film, right? Random Citizen says, how much is Big Micro Four Threads paying both you and Emily to talk about Pen F on the same day? Joking, of course. I say I don't like the Pen F. So yeah, if they're paying me, well, I welcome the cash. Sure, give me money to say that I don't like the Pen F. Sure, right? Yeah. Even 6x7, 6x7, 6x17, so it's no good for the bicycle. Small cameras are, yeah. Which keep micro four thirds small and lightweight, please. It's still a unique selling point. Yeah, that's why we need the Olympus Pen or the OM Digital Solutions to bring back the pen cameras. That's what I've been talking for the entire night for the past 2 hours. I don't know what's perfect. The reason I got a lot of small sensors is my shooting style bracketing plus minus 2 EV and then manually blend exposures for the HDR, right? bad, nah, that's fine. Don't know how to pronounce your name? Zykar? Zykar says, I've bought the EM5 Mark II for shooting fursuits, often on the parade, which made me think it would be kind of like street photography. My full-frame pals struggle with their weight, while my small cameras work great. Yeah, definitely. If you want something small and light, run and gun, you want to be quick on your feet, you want to be agile, Micro Four Thirds is the way to go. Yeah, she loves Pen F. She can like what she likes, and I can like what I like. I feel that if I want something like a pen camera, EPL7 is a better way. It's the way to go for me. To me, it's better than Pen F. Yeah. In terms of ergonomics, EPL7 is better. And also, like, EPL7 has tilt screen. I prefer to work with tilt screen for my street photography. If I'm going to use the Pen F, I'm not going to use it to do video or serious work, right? I'm going to use it for street photography. For street photography, that tilt screen works better on the EPL7. Yeah. Wolfie says, by the way, Robin, it looks like we are going to have a new 25 1.8 from the SG image, right? Yeah. I'm interested to try that lens if it ever comes out. If it ever comes out. And it's not too expensive, so I don't mind spending a bit of money getting that lens just for the fun of it. There has been pictures of the prototype at CB Plus, so yeah, not to worry. No autofocus, no go for Robin. Wolfie says, it looks like it's going to be a smaller than both 25 1.8 and Panasonic 25 1.7. It'll have autofocus, yeah. When it comes out, let's try it first before we make any conclusions. I like it to be liked, but nobody likes me. I like to be liked, but nobody likes me. Ah, okay. No, I mean, honestly, it's best not to get people to like. Don't change who you are for people to like you. That way, those people who actually like you will be genuine. You get what I mean? Yeah. The great Vansini photo says, I just read the Bakute. It's nice. Trust me, it's perfect. It's so nice. Andrew says, EPL8 is my first camera with screen that flips down. I need to get used to that selfie shots. They say that you look better when it flips down. It looks more natural. If it flips up, then it's like you're looking away from the camera. I don't know, that's Olympus justification of making it flip down. But that is not really useful if you want to film yourself doing video, because if you put the camera on a tripod, if you flip it down, then there's that tripod thing getting in the way, right? So it doesn't make sense. Ricoh GR2 is still my most used camera of all times. Perfect, Oli, perfect. All right, that's all for tonight. I've called the chat. I hope you guys have enjoyed the conversation. And I think we all can agree that OM Digital Solutions should bring back their pen cameras. I hope they do. And I hope they bring back EPL series camera. I don't mind if they bring, like, they update the EP7, EP7 Mark II, or EP9, whatever they want to, or EP8, if they want to bring it out. They will be amazing as well. Or Pen F Mark II, if they want to make it happen, I think a lot of people will be very happy. But I think whichever pen cameras that they want to bring out, I think there's a market for it. I think there'll be a very high demand for it. I think it will sell very well. I hope you guys have enjoyed the conversation. I hope you guys have enjoyed looking at my photographs. If you do, please consider buying me a cup of coffee, or you can contribute directly to my PayPal. Links in the description below on how you can do any of that. Any contribution will definitely help me to continue making more content and share them with you guys here. Until the next one, please go out and take more photographs. See you guys in the next live stream. Bye-bye.